You lot to unmute before one of you lot tells me how to do it. How's it going? How are we all doing on this, I'd say, fine Friday? This blummin' warm Friday. It is roasting. Apologies for the background noise. I'm aware you probably can hear the fan. But if I don't have this on, I think I may die. So, yeah. I also, because I've got two fans pointed at me, I can't turn the light on either. So, it looks alright for now. At some point later in the evening, it's going to start getting real dark on my camera. It's not roasting, it's roasted already, it's now charcoal. Yeah, I think so. Like, I'm having to sit with my legs splayed, because if my knee is bent at all, I just immediately pull sweat. It's that warm. So unpleasant. Unbelievable. Who we got? Harry's here with the rats. Yeah, it is a rat-focused episode. Bromo Sapiens here, good to have you. Gustav says wood elves. I don't know that there are any wood elves in this this one, actually, you know. I am not sure there are any wood elves that made it in. Jordan says rats. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Connor's here. Good to have you, boy. Dazed. Yo, what up, chat? Indeed. I should fulfill my dreams of becoming a Gen Z TikTok streamer. That'd be good. That'd be great. Someone asked me if I streamed on TikTok earlier today, and I told them the demographic of you lot, which is usually mid-20s to mid-40s. And he was like, ah, so no then. James is here, good to have you. Your biggest fan is 6 inches. I'm not moving the camera, but I've got what is called an evaporation cooler. So it's, I guess, about 3 foot tall. It's a decent sized fan. I have lost the bit in the back, so it is actually just a fan. It's not doing any evaporating or cooling right now. I wish it was. Daniel's building a longman. Hell yeah. Great models. There are lots of rats in the Fix My List channel. I'd call an exterminator. Yeah, I've been watching League of Legends. Absolute rat behaviour. Ugh. I went out today. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll tell you this story. So Thursday, I went into town to post a parcel, which needed to be posted pretty urgently. And I got to the post office, and I realised that not only had I not put the parcel in my bag, I hadn't actually wrapped the parcel up. So, yeah, grim. Absolutely grim. So I went into town to do that today. But while I was there, I picked up my suit for my brother's wedding, which is at the end of the month, and also an ice box, you know, one of those coolers that it's just an insulated box, but you put ice into it. So I've got that over here, which has got cold drinks in, and that's keeping me somewhat sane. The British houses have no insulation at all. We're designed to keep the heat in, unfortunately, because historically it's a cold country. It's just getting warmer. I can see chat's talking, but no stream till I refreshed. Nice. Hey, Tanako, how you doing? Nice. Jordan says he heard of a fridge. Do I have a fridge in my room? I do not. I do not. And it's so warm in here. So my room, where I stream from, is southwest facing, which means this room gets all of the sun from like 11 AM up until the sun goes down. So it is an absolute oven. The rest of the flat's not too bad, but this place is an absolute easy bake oven. You should put your feet in the box, problem solved. It's not a bad idea. Unfortunately, it would mean the box would have to be open, which would let the heat escape. Keeping heat in means it also keeps heat out. You'd think so, but it doesn't. There are the various things you can do to design houses in ways to make it so heat doesn't escape. I couldn't tell you what they are. Not an engineer, but that is the problem I'm having. Got a portable aircon for my room, life changer. Yeah, I've been like looking, just sort of staring at the listings on Amazon, but it's a lot of money, and we only have a couple of weeks of the year that are super unpleasantly hot, so it doesn't feel like a smart purchase at the moment, unfortunately. That'll have to wait. Hopefully by next summer I'll live somewhere that isn't so warm. There's low-cost solutions for the problem, by the way. I live on the top floor of a block of flats, and also I rent, I don't buy. So the things that I can do are limited, partially by not wanting to die, and also partially by just not being able to change things. Asbestos and fiberglass. Yeah, just going back to previous point about renting, unfortunately I can't do anything to the dwelling that I'm currently in. But there is a lot to get through, and we should talk about it. So before we get into it, it's probably worth just saying at the start of this, there are a lot of lists submitted. I think I'm going to get to about half of them. My apologies if your name is not in there. The system I have, I think, is relatively fair. I try to get a bit of variety in. So if you had your list looked at last week, no matter whether you're a channel member or not, you are down in the priority system. So anyone who hasn't had their list looked at in the stream beforehand gets a chance to be seen. And it goes, obviously, channel members first, and then just regular subscribers after that for the order that I do look in the lists at. But apologies, about half of you won't get the list seen just because there's too many. And unless I turn this into a 4-hour stream, which maybe there's scope to do, I could start earlier, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't want to completely change everything up, given that the popularity increase of this stream is probably partially to do with people going, what the hell do I put in my list for 1.5? And then in 3 weeks' time, start an hour earlier and finish at 8:30. That wouldn't be ideal. You got hot air balloons flying by outside. The Cathays, they're here. Well, there we go. There we go. And you were submitting far past the cutoff. Yeah, I did say, all right, stop here. And then 4 more lists were slammed in the next 20 minutes, I think it was, something like that. But yes, let's have a look at where we are at. So normally I'd ask who's here, but I'm not going to do that because I think some of the people, like names in the stream I've seen already, will not be having their list looked at, unfortunately. So I'm just going to go see if I can spot any names. I was one of them reading is hard. I assume people can read. The problem was someone submitted a list, like I think a few seconds after I said door shut. To be fair, they were so far down the list of people who would have been seen just on a basis of, they were probably list 25 or something. So it's not like that was the thing that stopped them being seen. But because they submitted their list as I said, okay, submission's closed, I think it got hidden, basically. All right, Connor. I can see you here, so let's start with it. Connor, as many of you may not know, is my son. And by that I mean he's a member of the same 40k team that I guess I still am on. I just don't play 40k. Yeah, and someone posted a picture of him, or he had his picture in his WhatsApp like profile or whatever, and I looked and I was like, huh, that looks like me 15 years ago. Bizarre. I will say in real life I don't think we look super similar, but just the picture I saw, I was like, damn, that is a spitting likeness of me. So there has been many jokes about how Connor is actually my son, which his dad knows about, because he told me that his dad has watched the channel. So yeah, hello son. Oh, also the joke is I'm a deadbeat dad. That is the main part of the joke. I'm not a good father. To get my attention, he has to genuinely, and this is just because of busyness. He did you win the event you were at, Connor? I can't remember what it was. You did something noteworthy at the 40k event you were at. Maybe you won like an RTT or something, and I saw that in the chat. I was like, all right, I'll respond to your DM now, which got, the classic WhatsApp group laugh emojis, but it was true. I'd just forgotten that I had a message waiting from him that I needed to respond to. Yeah, so he's excelling, and when he does something noteworthy, I remember that he exists, and then after that, I pop back out to the shops. Oh, all right. Yeah, so a couple of people are saying submitted, but they knew they probably wouldn't get in. Absolutely fine. Please do feel free to submit, because if it's a lower than normal, set of submissions, you might still end up getting picked up, so it's worth chucking it in, as long as you've got one ready to go. Great lawyer dropping here. I know. It's the... I do like to have a bit of a natter on the Friday streams. I can't really do it on the Tuesday streams, because you've got to talk more about Warhammer, but we get to have a bit of interaction. What should I say? If you're here and you haven't already, please do give the stream a thumbs up. It does help me get picked up by the algorithm, all of the YouTuber good stuff. If you want to support the channel, doing so by watching is great. If you want to support more, you can become a member on YouTube. Also, if you do, make sure that you let me know in the Needs Role section on Discord, and I can give you a role, give you access to the VIP sections for Longbeard and above tier members. If you're interested in coaching, obviously I have started a coaching Patreon. Things are going well. I think I'm up to about 14 or 15 students at the moment, which is great. Having a lot of fun with that. And yeah, I think that's all of the things. Oh yeah, this video is not sponsored by the TSN Arena, but if you want to go to good events, TSN Arena has good events, man. 24 players, so they're not the biggest ones, but the vibes are good. The shares are comfortable. The tables have large amounts of space. It's here in Nottingham. I do not go to all of them, obviously, because I'm busy, especially with WTC stuff, but I do go to a lot of them, and sometimes I just pop in. Last Sunday, after my stag do, I just came in, popped in, said hi, and I chilled at the event for a couple of hours. So, you know, if you're there, if you're going to an event, and I'm not signed up, feel free to shoot me a message. I'm not saying that I'll definitely drop in, but, you know, let me know you're there, and I'll let you know if there's a chance of me going in. What about the Open Order Summer Session? While you're shilling, yeah, sure. There is indeed, for channel members, a league run by Jordan and Callum. If you are interested in that, then post in, I guess, the... It's in the VIP section. Well, it's for members only, so you'll be able to see the channels. But you can ask questions in the banter channel, the list submission, I guess, about having your list. It is a couple of games a month, and they... the next month, or the last month coming up, will be August. Yeah, so there's still time to get in and play a couple of games of Warhol with some people that you might not have played against. I'm in the league. I'm having a good time. I play Beastmen, maybe? I don't remember what I was playing. I genuinely don't remember what I was playing. I think about Warhammer too much, man. Connor says, I appreciate any attention I get. Yep. Good stuff there. Good stuff. All right. Enough chat. Let's move on to the list. So the list says, my take on Grand Army, lots of call for scoring. And we have been chatting about this a little bit. I wasn't there for any of the important dates of Connor's life. No graduations or anything like that. But I will give him some advice on his lists. So I do like down here, we've got a little bit of range pressure along with a little bit of just annoyance in the copters. I wonder... First order of business. I like these as solos. I wonder if there's any play to making them 2, because they are monstrous cavalry, which means that they've got unit strength 3. So if you want to have something to destroy a baggage train or a cabbage train, maybe a couple of copters is the way to go, like a unit of 2. It's the only fast thing that dwarves have. I'm not sure about that. It's just something that has just now occurred to me. Cannons. This is a little bit illegal. You can't have the same rune loadout. So you go one with Rune of Reloading, and then the other one you could go Rune of Reloading and Stalwart Rune. It does basically nothing. You get +1 combat res, but it's the cheapest way to just get a free, or an easy, reload there. The other thing you can do is you can go Rune of Forging, which is pretty solid, and this gets you a single-use reroll on the misfire if you do misfire there, and also comboed with Rune of Reloading gives you a lot of reliability. Will you post post-errata analysis for legacy factions? I will get round to as many as I can, I think. Darry only fixed my list stream with Richie would be fun. Yeah, that would be fun. Hey, Mascadon, made it to a live stream. Good to have you. Good to have you. Technically illegal is the worst kind of illegal. That's true. In the same way that technically legal? Technically allowed. I forget the saying. As you can tell, my brain is fully scrambled in the heat. I just played, not just a couple of hours ago, played a game against Charlie, who is obviously our fantastically good Vampire Counter player, and I was a bumbling mess. Sorry, Charlie. I was a mess. So, let's have a look at the unit choices. We'll look at the characters in a second. So, you can go 0 to 1 unit of rangers per corps. I do like this for Grand Army. Just taking the unit here. Crossbows, with throwing axes, heavy armor, yeah. So this is just good. I like this. I wouldn't be upset at a banner rune. I'm not 100% sure what you'd want to put on there, but we can come back to that in a second. Longbeards, Big Bricker 24, Unit Champion, Rune of Courage, and Rune of Battle. Rune of Courage is very important. You auto-pass Fear and Terror tests. This is something you should put on your expensive units. I have terrored off a very large brick of dwarves before, even though it was leadership 10. Technically legal, definitely something the YouTube algorithm would like to hear. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Alright. Is it worth running the Heroes 2? Hey, that's exactly what I was thinking. Okay, so the Longbeards, shields drilled, heavy armor, banner of battle. Yeah, that's good. Are there any... I wouldn't mind a Rune of Passage on this unit, actually, if you haven't got one already. Just getting stuck in terrain is such a pain in the backside for your big Death Stars, and having moved through cover means that with drilled, you can get much more use out of your ability to move around the board. So, that's good here. These are fine. I don't love them. I think I'm going to just out and out drop one of these units, and maybe we take the Quarrelers, but we bump them up to 14 with Unit Champion and a Standard Bearer. That gives you some static combat res as well, so something like a Dragon charging you doesn't just auto-win. It does free some points up. Alright, what else have we got? So we've got a Runesmith with Full Plate Shield, Master Rune of Calm. Master Rune of Calm is really good. So for anyone who hasn't seen this monstrosity, Bound Spell level 2, so you cast it with +2. It goes off on an 8 or an 11, so you need to roll a 6 or a 9. It's a Hex, but it's self-range, so magic resist does nothing. Wizards within 18 inches increase the spell's casting value by 2 when they cast, and if you get it to 11, it goes up to 36 inches. This is disgusting. The only thing that makes this sort of a little bit less disgusting is the one that you're likely to get it off, the 18 inches. Even with a march, you're still going to be within, you know, dispel range if you march into their casting range. But I still like this. It's just genuinely good, and people are only dispelling with +2 now, so this is a really nice pickup to have. I wouldn't be upset to see a great weapon on here as well. I don't think this character is so exciting that it has to stay alive at all costs. Just the extra great weapon attacks are pretty good. Phil, I believe you did. Let me just double check down the side here. Yes, you did. Cool. So then we've got the Thane. This Thane is just an absolute beast. It's the handgun, full plate armor, shield, bursting flame, rune of accuracy, rune of rapid fire. Previously, I would have said put the rune of the furnace on it. Now I'm less bothered about that because pillar of fire is just not a thing, and that was mostly your defense against it. Then we've got a Thane here, Grugny, Courage, BSB, full plate, shield, on foot. I do like extra wounds on this model, but it is a little hard to get. It's not the end of the world not to have it. Okay, so this is going in a separate unit to the King by the looks of things, or maybe not in the Longbeards. That's interesting. I think I'd rather see, because I think this unit probably wants the Rune of Courage to run alone, and then this unit just wants the Rune of Battle, and then you've got the Rune of Courage on the Thane. Something like that I think works well, because it's likely that you're just going to bunker your characters into the Longbeards, realistically. Then we've got the King as well. Great Weapon, Full Plate, Shield Bearers, yeah. Grommel, Preservation, Furnace. Ooh, that's not what I expected to see. So Grommel is obviously great, it gives you a 2-up armor save. Preservation is the immune to killing blow and multiple wounds. Super important, you have to go to these two if you want to go for a tanky King. Rune of the Furnace obviously gives you a ward save there. I guess the problem is you can't go smiting, because you're too close on points. Is there anything that... Like, I kind of want this guy to do some damage. He just sits there and tanks, but he doesn't actually do anything, so I think we can drop the Rune of the Furnace there. I need to remind myself... That's not awful, turning off armor saves. It's not incredible. 2 up to wound behemoths. We're seeing less behemoths now, so it's probably not important. Maybe we just go a couple of extra attacks. You just get up to 6 attacks with the Rune of Fury. Maybe that's the way to go. Yeah, I don't hate that, because we've already got rerolls against characters. So this puts you at 6 attacks, strength 6, AP 2, armor bane 1. Rune of Might wouldn't be bad as well, getting you up to strength 7. I wouldn't hate that, but I think this is fine. Grand Army Dwarves, rare. I like Grand Army Dwarves. I think there are reasons to play other things, but like I like what you can bring here. Okay. So we've got our characters tweaked. Yeah, I like this. I like this. I like this. I think I agree. God, copters are so expensive. Can we take... we can't take the regular ones, can we? The scout copters. Let me just double check. No, it's not in any of these. I think I do like the squad of 2 a little bit more than the squad of 1. And we are 9 points over. Super easy to fix here. We're just going to drop something like... You know what? If we drop 2 of these and then we give the Quarrelers great weapons... 2 points per model. Oh, it's 2 points per model. Okay. We're going to drop that then. And... Longbeards, I like having musicians. We've still got 15 points left to put in. I guess we could just go... It's difficult. Back up to 23? Back up to 23. I think this works well for what you're going for. I should play fairly linearly, which is ideal. Alright. There we go. We got some dwarves to start us off. Fantastic stuff. Okay. Well, I've also seen Jordan here. Now, Jordan is doing some shenanigans. Now that Empire are maybe too good, because you can take a unit with loads of static combat res, Jordan has decided to jump to a different project, which is objectively the worst army in the game, which is Skaven. He is playing Renegade Skaven, but he says 1 unit of clan rats can ambush with the warp grinder. Maybe that's good for threatening a cabbage crat. He meant to say cart, but he didn't, and I will mock him for it, because he mocked me. Ha ha ha. I think this could use some rat darts, probably just to absorb first charges to jails, I think, can be pretty gross into cavalry. Alright, the storm vermin, and then it cuts off there, because my thing cuts off, but I think it's just a Death Star, basically. So, this is Renegades, and if we look at the special, the double unit of Giselles, they're going to do some pretty decent damage. Now, their ballistic skill is bad. Their ballistic skill 3, which means they're going to be hitting on 5s most of the time. Which is Strength 6 AP 3 though, and it's magical attack. So you can threaten Banshees, which is cool. These things, basically, you take 6 and you expect to get 2 hits. But those 2 hits, you expect to get 2 wounds, unless you're shooting a dragon. Can't help it but play the bad factions. Gotta have an excuse, eh, buddy? And then we've got the Warp Lightning Cannons as well. These are much better in Renegades, because they do... Is it D3 plus 1 damage, I think? It doesn't say in here, but yes, it has been adjusted in the Renegades pack to do D3 plus damage, D3 plus 1 damage. So definitely worth taking these. They're kind of scary cannons. A couple of units of the Plague Sensor Bearers I don't hate, but I don't know that they are super useful. What are you thinking for the Plague Sensor Bearers, bud? Just little cheap little hitty units. They've got 1 attack each plus frenzy, I think it is. Yeah, so 2 attacks with the Plague Sensor Bearers, which are Strength 5, AP 1. With poison attacks, rerolling 1s. It's okay. It's okay. I think we could definitely see these cut, though, to see some rat darts here in core. You've gone for the Warlord with Skaven Brew, which gives them Frenzy, so basically immune to Psychology or more attacks as you need it. Well, both. Shadow Magnet as well is quite nice. This is the item that gives you -1 to be shot, so quite nice to have for a Death Star. 52 points absorb, first hit, first charge at worst. They're kind of... Yeah, that's true. But, so, for 52 points, look at what you can get. 11 plus a Packmaster Master Molder. It's worth getting the Master Molder, because you go from... Oh, it doesn't say there. Master Molder. Leadership 7. You can have Leadership 7 Rat Darts for 45 points. Which is tasty. These things also score objectives, which is so funny. So I'm just going to take these out for now. I think they're fine, but I think if you can do the same thing with the Rat Darts that you've already pointed out are good, I think that's just a better way to go. You've gone double Plague Furnace. That's really funny. Why have you done that? Where do the Plague Furnaces go? Where did the Plague Furnaces go? No, I understand they go burr. I like them. They go in the Storm Vermin? Wait... Can you put multiple in? Okay, this is not the... fuck, hold on. It's called, what was the Renegade pack? Is it literally just squarebase.com? They made it so you could find the PDF pretty quickly. Stick it all in the Storm Vermin. I think that works, and that really upsets me that it potentially works. Come on. You can't see the little notification. I've downloaded this thing 5 times now. Alright. Skaven. Page later than this. After Ogres. Okay. Alright. Plague Furnace. Yeah, this unit can only use the dragged along special rule to join a unit of Plague Monks. I thought there was something in there. So, and then we'll just read the dragged along rule. Technically illegal, Jordan. The worst kind of illegal. May join, must be placed in the center. Okay. Cool. Well, there's an easy fix to that, mate. We're just going to change the Storm Vermin for Plague Monks. 416 points. Cool. I like the Storm Vermin more, but let's just go... we'll go like this. Man, I'm hitting all the buttons this evening. So we can still go Grand Banner of Superiority, and we'll go here. Did you give it a magic resist item? I can't remember if you did. Boo this man. Get wrecked, boy. Obsidian Lodestone. Give it magic resist 1. We don't need to give it magic resist 1 because we can put... we could put a Gracier into it. I don't really want to. Let's give it magic resist 1. Let's just make it good on its own. Obsidian Lodestone. There we go. Additional hand weapons are expensive. Honestly, I think you probably don't even bother. You just go for normal hand weapons. And FYI, the Warlord is no longer necessary if you drop... okay, cool. I don't hate the Warlord, though. It can do halberd attacks and then go to the back, and it provides -1 to be hit. And this unit, while it is toughness 4, which is nice, doesn't have shields or armor. So, yeah. You can drop it. I think it's probably fine. He took way too much showing that. That laugh may indicate he's actually a Skaven player. Now, for anyone who's not in the VIP chat, Jordan is not the worst, I will say, but one of the regular crew who winds me up. You can do the same with Chieftain. That's true. That is true. Let's just do that then. And I guess we'll make the Gracier the Warlord on the basis of points. And let's go Chieftain, Halberd Light Armor, Shield, and Shadow Magnet. Oh, we can't also fit Skaven Brew in there, which I think is... Oh, we don't need Skaven Brew, because we're already frenzied. Okay, so what do we got here? So we got Lore Familiar Demonology, Power Scrolls. That's cool. I like it, I like it. Let's go 2 Power Scrolls and 2 Warpstone tokens. I know you already get some Warpstone tokens, but they're just flat better now. Being able to put plus D3 on each casting roll is super tasty. Yes, you do risk-taking wounds. Yes, Skaven. Live with it. Chieftain. There are so many. This unit's going to be so wide. That's really funny. And then we've got the Engineer. Countermats. I think if you're not taking something to do damage at range, I don't hate the Warp Grinder. Like, the Warp Grinder also does pretty decent damage. Strength 5, AP 3, Killing Blow. It's not awful. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of attacks, but it has a potential to do something. And 30 points to give the whole unit flexible. Oh, we definitely want to give this unit shields. I know they're only rats, but we definitely want to give them shields. Then we've got the rat darts. Honestly, a 3rd rat dart feels really good here, I think. And then because you're never going first, right? You're playing Skaven, so you may as well go for the full commitment to that. And then 7 points left to spend. I don't hate giving this guy just a pistol. He's probably never going to shoot it, but when he does, potentially, Strength 4, AP 2, quick shot. And it's alright. You know, it's a living. It's 11. This is such a beefy unit. It's going to be so... Okay. You've got 2 chariots in the middle. And chariots are on... I guess they're on the 50 by 100 mils. So they're 2 wide. So you're 4 wide. And you need 2 models. So you're 6 wide already. Then we're going to put in the Gracier and both Chieftains. Okay. So... That's so wide. That's 12 wide. They're 3 wide. Are they on 75 mil? I don't think that's right. They're on 60 by 100s, I believe. I think they're on 60 by 100s, but you can put them on 50 by 100s, I think, is the... Oh, multiple people are saying 3 wide. Maybe they are. Let's go back to this. Oh, yeah, no, it is. Okay, so 3, 6. How many characters we got? It's funny, I want to see you play this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so you need to be 14 wide to put 2 of these in. That's so dumb. Chonk. You'll never be able to wheel. It's a good job you've got Swift Stride in there from the BSB has got... Yeah, there we go. Banner bonus scoring. Alright, this is what the list is, and I want to see you play this. I'd like to see you play it at a TSN Arena event. I think you mentioned you would potentially come into one of those. I will definitely come down and laugh at the ludicrous nature of your 14-wide unit, if you do. Wheel that. Yeah, exactly. Good luck wheeling. If we go wide enough, wheeling doesn't matter. Hey, Amy. S tier Ratfolk. Yes, it absolutely is. This is S tier, and the S may stand for superb, or it may stand for shit. Who can say? Who can say? Just sit on an objective. Absolutely. They're not taking that off you. That's a Death Star to kill Death Stars. I'm gonna... Oh, I turned off the donation noises. Sorry, I need to turn those back on. Hold on, let me fix that in the background. I had them off for the serious streams I was doing, and then... But I'm not a serious man, as you can see by these Friday streams. Streamlabs is the website I'm looking for. Oh, thank you very much, Steve. Steve says VOP chat doesn't wind you up. I don't know what you're on about. We have in-depth conversations about Old World and nothing else, except the Tomb King players. They cry a lot, need the gash back. What's really funny is, at one point, Ed said... this is another Ed, obviously. Ed said, "Oh no, he's here. Stop talking about Old World." Because that's the sort of place it is. It's a great place. Full of whimsy and magic. Perfect. Well, while that's loading up in the background, I can have a look at another list. And let's have a look at the Voltan Ignato's list. Owen, who took a list, a 2.6k version to TSN, came second with Empire. Good man. And this is a trimmed down version of that same list. So, starting off, he's got the Griffin Standard Veteran State Troop block. Love that. Then he's got his second unit of Empire State Troops, and I hate that. This is... I do not understand this. I don't think it does much. They just run away. Do you have captains to go in there? No. I think this unit probably just dies. I'm very worried about the second unit. I don't think it makes much sense. Road Wardens are really good. Oh, hold on. State Troops. You've got detachments. You've got detachments of hand weapon shield troops. I don't understand that either. Unless the goal is just to use them for, like, movement blockers, which does make sense. 13 archers is fine. Wardens, good stuff. Repeater pistols, just nice to have. It's +1 shot over the regular, pistols. Unit of 2 Demigryph Knights. Not a huge fan of a Unit of 2. I don't see them holding up to much, honestly. I know you talked about finding value in first charge, but I think like 138 points and 139 points, you could probably also cut some of this and just go for Knights in core that maybe do a better job. Maybe the 4 Inner Circle Knights, the White Wolf are okay, because they hit pretty hard, but here I'd probably be looking for something else. Double cannon's nice. I would like 3, but it's hard to fit in, and you only need a single engineer for 2. Needs more flatulence. That's true. Character-wise, can you hear that helicopter coming overhead? The place I live is quite nice, but it's right on the border of a slightly dodgier area. As I do live in Shottingham. General of the Empire. Alright, so we've got an Imperial Griffin Healing Potion White Cloak. That is wild. A healing potion. So, you're going to tell me that it wins you the game, and I respect that. I'm going to tell you, just take the dragon bow and have some threat at range. I think that's better. Owen's playing at TSN, and Rob's maps are pretty bad for cannons. There are going to be some new maps coming, I'm pretty sure. When I was talking to him last week, it sounded like he was going to be doing some fun stuff. Then we've got a Wizard Lord level 3 on foot, battle magic. Yeah, I like this. Wizard Familiar, really nice. This gives you +1 to dispel. So, it doesn't give you the extra range, but it does give you, you're dispelling at +3. Lord Familiar, Power Scroll, battle magic. You can just cast the things you need. I do like that. Captain here with War Banner on foot with a Charmed Shield and Heavy Armor. 3 up armor save in combat. Single use 5 at ward. Good stuff. Then an Engineer with no other tweaks. Great, great, great. Needs anti-dragon tech. If only Empire had a premier anti-dragon unit. You guys are terrible, he said with love. I think this goes away, and we go like 8 Empire Knights. I understand that they don't hit super hard, but they don't hit not hard. 218 points. Like, I don't necessarily see a use for this second unit of state troops. And you are more than welcome to tell me I'm wrong, Owen. Feel free to put them back in. But if I was building it, I'd go 1 brick that's going to do things, and it's going to Death Star, and it's going to stand on a point, it's going to have a ward save, it's going to have a million combat res. Then I've got a unit of 8 Empire Knights, which has got first charge, so it can turn off, it can support the General of the Empire if you want to be aggressive with it. It stops you from being challenged out. Still good scoring. Then we've got some Emperor Archers, which are solid, and they've got Scout in case you come up against a Green Knight. Then you've got the State Troops. I'm not going to take these out, because I think you almost certainly have a use for them, which I respect, but I will say I don't 100% see it yet. Road Wardens are good. White Wolf, Cannon. I think here, just with these points, we can just beef things up a little bit, because we've dropped 1 unit here, and then 1 scoring unit. So let's buff this up to, like... Ooh, 7 is... Okay, well, we can drop the Musician from this squad, and then we've got 8 Empire Knights and 7 Inner Circle Knights, the White Wolf. And this is your scoring unit that flexes in as a first charge unit as well. This is the direction I'd go. But as always, you've made efficient choices with your characters and everything else. So I like the general vibe that you've gone for, Rowan, but I just don't love the second unit in Empire, unless you support it with could support it with a captain, which is pretty cheap to make them immune to panic. So maybe that would be the way to go. Make sure I ping the right person. If Flagellants were core, I still wouldn't play them, but I'd at least think about not playing them, Yeah, they are truly a terrible unit. Truly, truly, truly. Alright, let's have a look at El Porro's list. I think you'll find that anti-dragon. Oh, this is from last summer. I picked up 2 of these. I could put ice in it, and it would still be ice by the time I got to work, which was ideal. But yeah, keeps my drink cold alongside my my ice box over here. God, it's so warm. The fan's just moving warm air onto me. I long for the sweet embrace of winter. That's cheap for their efficiency. Alright. Why am I creating accounts and stream labs? No hassle, it's terrible. Yeah, I agree, it is terrible. But I also respect the meme. Frankie says, how am I? I'm doing alright, apart from the heat. Can't decide between Warriors of Skaven. Do you like winning games? If you like winning games, definitely go Warriors of Chaos. You can actually play foot Warriors of Chaos. I think I'm going to play a game with like 40 actual Warriors of Chaos and still be really aggressive on Sunday. Yeah. It's alright, Jordan. They're just memeing. It's not that deep. It's okay. Let's have a look. Okay, so yeah, we were talking about El Porro's Grand Army Beastmen list. This has got some interesting choices that I do like. Something I like about all of these lists is there is stuff in there that I do like. So this is his first take on a Beastmen list with the new match play scenarios in mind. Feel like it's lacking something, but I'm not sure. Doombull and BSB go into the 20 core unit. The casters either solo or all in the smaller unit, which is skirmish a simple reserve move. So, and I mean this as a huge compliment. I saw this list and I looked at some of the PC put in. I was like, this feels like the sort of list we've been, not like specifically Beastmen, but like I'm looking at the tech choices you're making, going, all right, yeah, no, I see it. This is the sort of like list building that we like for Worlds. It's a very cool list. So basically, there's this unit here, which is the Gore Herd, and it's got the Cacophonous Dirge, which turns off enemy musicians, which is very funny. It's got War Banner in there, and I think he just didn't select a choice. I'm going to give them shields, because shields are pretty decent now, even though they're not super great for Beastmen, they're still pretty okay. And you've got a True Horn in there with a great weapon. Then there's the unit of 15, and this has got the Scourge of the Burdened. Now, Scourge of the Burdened is interesting and not one that I'd taken, but it gives you Call of the Wild as a bound spell, power level 2, which gives you the reserve move. So this basically gives you an open order reserve move unit that you can put your wizards into. That's the goal. And again, we're going to give them shields, just make them a little bit better. I'm not sure if I'd go with full command here, but I'd be really tempted to give them a great weapon, so we're just going to put that in there. I'm not sure if maybe I just didn't put it in when I translated it across, but I think it should have them. Triple Razor Gore, I love. They still hit pretty hard, and the Warhounds are nice as well. Great stuff there. Vanguard, Herdstone, and then Gigantic Spawn of Nurgle, great stuff there, and the characters I like. I don't love these. I actually don't know that single Dragon Ogres have a super big place anymore in the way that I'm envisioning the game. Maybe I'm wrong, because they are still efficient. But I think I'd just rather take more core, frankly. Like, I'd buff up some of these units and maybe take some more stuff in here. Like, maybe a Chariot instead of a Shartak. Something along those lines. But, yeah. No, so let's go through the characters here. So, Doomball with Great Weapon. You've gone for Full Plate Chaos Armor, Bedazzling Helm, and Gnarled Hide. So that gets you to a 2-up armor save. It gives you a 5-up ward save, and your -1 to hit in combat from the Bedazzling Helm. I like this combo. This is great. It just makes it really, really beefy. You've gone for a great weapon. You've also gone for the Gouge Tusks. And that's 30 points to get an extra AP1 on your attacks, which is maybe worthwhile doing, but I'm not 100% sure. It does mean that you can threaten big stuff more, especially with dragons being capped to the 3-up save. You can potentially get them to a 6-up armor save. I might be tempted to cut that 30 points here, but I'll leave it on for now. Leave that on for now. Then we got a Wargore with BSB, no standard. I would like to see a standard on there, I think. Heavy armor, enchanted shield, Slugskin. Slugskin gives the unit basically anything that fights it -1 to hit. No, it is -1 to hit, sorry. So it stacks again with the Bedazzling Helm, so you can be really hard to deal with in a challenge. Enchanted shield. I think this character wants a charmed shield. You look at it and go, but it's only one game. This character's inside a unit. It's only going to need to, there's going to be a time when you go, God, I wish I had a decent ward save, and you're not super bothered about, horse attacks, you get a 6-up ward save against. That's not the big thing. It's someone hits you with an Ogre Blade, and you go, oh, 5-up ward save, and I got lucky and I passed it. So Charm Shield over Enchanted Shield, in my opinion. Magic Standard. It's hard to say what to put in here. I wouldn't mind... I want more combat res, but there isn't really any, is there? You can do some interesting stuff with it, but actually, I guess there's not really anything super exciting to put in here. Poison attacks are not bad. Just make it so that the Doomball gets +2 to wound, but it's got to have really high strength already. It starts off at tough strength 6, so maybe it's not needed. So okay, we'll leave the BSB off at the moment. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I'm not super in love with any of the unit doing attacks anyway, so it's probably whatever. Brave Shaman here. Elementalism, Hagtree Fetish, level 4, and then 2 level 1 Demonology casters. One with a Power Scroll, one with a Jagged Dagger. I like it. I think this is great. Just good Vile Tide damage. Really good stuff here. I think what I would say is this character definitely wants at least 1 Power Scroll, because if you come up against something big with magic resist, you want to push that through on the key turn. Okay. And I think, yeah, because I like what you've got here. I think it literally just comes down to probably buff these units up a little bit. So I'd like to see more models in the aggressive Death Star. Because, yes, you're probably still going to have a few models at the end of the game with 20, but you might not be able to score. Just going up a little bit in size makes it harder for your opponent to remove your scoring. And then similar for this unit here, getting up to 182 points. I don't actually, maybe this one can sit at 15, because that lets us put another Razor Gore in or something like that. And I think something like this does a pretty good job. Just go up to 16 here. So the core I'm a little changeable on still. Like, you could cut down to like 27, 26, cut this back down to 15, cut the Razor Gore Herd, maybe put like a chariot in or something like that. But I do like just having slightly beefier units and making sure that the big combat brick is hanging around and scoring. Akont has... yes, your list is in. Your list is in. But yeah, so yeah, I really like this list. I like the reserve move bunker for the shooting. There is a world where you make it... There's a world where you make it Ungor, because Ungor have skirmish and Gore don't, so that is a bit of a downside. But then you also need to put a BSB in there to give them reserve move. Or, no, not a BSB, you need to just have a character casting that spell. Maybe it is Ungor, actually. Huh. What if we just go... What if we just go Scourge of the Burdened on this character? We delete this unit of Gore, which I like the idea of, but is it just better to go on Gore? Like this. Standard Musician. Hand Weapon Shield. You get more models. They're easier to... Like, they're lower toughness, but higher. This is interesting. This is worth considering. Because then, if we're doing this, we're also giving it magic resist too, I think. Because you're -1 to be shot, and you've got magic resist, and you've got casters in there. And I would like magic resist in this caster as well, actually. I think magic resist is so good. There is an item here that's really good called Pelt of the Dark Young, I believe. +1 to your armor save and magic resist 2. Yeah, now we're cooking with charcoal. We're 55 points over. We're going to drop that Razor Gore that we put in that we didn't need. Oh, no, I've just made another one. It's like... yeah. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Something like this. I like that more. I do like that more. Is there a world where they actually be chariot runners, or is that bad? Well, we don't have any chariots here. You can make them chariot runners, but they don't. You know, this list hasn't got chariots because we've just got slightly more efficient choices in, I would say. I also wouldn't hate a unit to hold a Herdstone, but yeah, no worries. You do see chariots in lists pretty frequently, but yeah, no, I think that works quite nicely. And just the skirmish for the 360 line of sight and the casting is pretty tasty, I think. And I need to remember it was El Porro. Boom. All right. Great stuff there. Great stuff. Let's go on Conte's list, because they are here. And this is a wild herd list with some very similar ideas from what you were saying. All right. So, what are we looking at here? Okay, so you've got a Primal War Herd. You've got a Gore Herd. Just going full plate. There's not a lot of AP3 flowing around. I might be tempted to just go full plate Chaos Armor and a shield. Gouge Tusks, Uncanny Senses, and Muscular Monstrosity. So this is +1 in strength, okay. But, I mean, you start off at strength 5. I think this is overkill, honestly. I don't think you need this. Gouge Tusks is extra AP. Getting from AP2 to AP3 on a high-value weapon like that is fine. I don't hate it. Uncanny Senses for +1 initiative is good as well. And... before doing that, the Primal War Herd has Rust Banner. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, no, you got me. That makes a lot of sense. Oh, in that case, you definitely don't need Gouge Tusks. Because if you're making them -4, anything above that is egregiously... You know, it's just over the top, I would say. The problem is the rest of the stuff in here is not amazing. So you've got like Menilin Fiend, which is only 20 points, but you can only make extra hand weapon attacks. Pelt of Midnight is not bad for being -1 to be shot. And Slug Skin as well, it's not bad. I wouldn't mind one of those, but you've got Slug Skin on the War Gore. So... yeah, I don't know that we need anything. Well, we've freed up points if we need to spend it. The War Gore, BSB War Banner, Shield, Heavy Chaos Armor, and Mangelder. So Mangelder's nice. This is the leadership shenanigans that you can start doing. Mangelder, Strength +1, AP -1, you cause terror, and if you do an unsaved wound, the unit that takes it suffers -1 to the leadership until end of turn. Heavy Chaos Armor is obviously just heavy armor with Ward Save on as well. And you've got War Banner in here. Have you not got the... is it Manbane Standard I'm thinking of? Where's the Manbane Standard? There's a word on a Skaven Arcane Journal. No, unfortunately, the Legacy armies don't get that sort of support, I'm afraid. Gouge Tusks and Rust makes Ogre Blade AP -4. Ignoring 3%. Oh, it's not. It's been a little while since I looked at Totem of Rust. Is it not? Is it AP reduce it by 1? Oh, I thought it was by 2. I'm obviously thinking Plague of Rust. Alright. We'll put it back on. Yeah, getting through that 3-up save is nice. I thought you were already getting through the 3-up save and just getting an additional point on there. Okay, sure. So then we've got this character. Heavy armor. I would like to see... Like, the combat res is nice, but I think... Is it not better to just go Manbane Standard as well? And make them -1, an additional -1 leadership, and just really double down on the terror causing that you're doing. I think with this character, you should be doing decently well at winning combats anyway, just with the amount of output you've got. And then you've got a Demonology caster to really just sort of hammer home that you're going to do big damn. Yeah, I like this. So this is, you pick your spells, 4-up armor save, 5-up ward, power scroll, Cacophonous Dirge. I know this is on there, but I'm just going to double check. You can take on casters, can't you? Yes, yeah, exactly. Cool. So this is a super beefy caster. It's a shame that it doesn't stack with the Brave Staff, because it just gives a flat armor save. They don't stack, but yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. Hey, Dazed, thank you very much for the support. Welcome to... I don't have a name for you lot. Should I have a name for you lot? I feel like that's maybe something that you do if you're a YouTuber who has a 12-year-old audience. That's not going to age well if I decide to give you lot a name. But yeah, anyway, so we've got a Hagtree Fetish and Jagged Dagger. I understand why you've got this on a lower level character, which is fine, but I think you definitely want to give it a couple of power scrolls, because this is such a high value casting. Like, it does so much damage, you definitely want to be getting it off. Level 2 is unnecessary. This one on foot with the Jagged Dagger is absolutely fine as well. Cool. Primal Warherd. What are we gone for? Totem of Rust, Charm Shield, Foe Render, Great Weapon, additional hand weapons. Is it the additional hand weapons? I guess because you got the Demonology caster in there, that's pretty good. I would maybe think about the shields, but either or. 24 gores and 10 ungore. Thrusting spears and shields. Yeah, that's fine. The Closer Order. The Close Order Dregs. These are not appealing names. The Oliver Twists. Ha! Goreherd, full command. Yeah, so like here, I'd be tempted to give this. I mean, I'd be tempted to give them ambushes as well, actually. Lowering the number of drops. I guess you're not that high on drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And being able to come on from the back lines to threaten is not bad. So let's start here. Give them ambushes. It's funny, I was so not an ambush Andy before, but now coming into the back lines is actually kind of scary. Warhounds with Vanguard and then triple Razor Gore. Yeah, I like this. So it's just tweaking points here, because I think this makes sense, but I prefer Manbane Standard to double down on the terror leadership shenanigans you've got in there already. Demonology, just a good buffing caster. Obviously you're taking the Demonic Vessel, Vigor, and Spectral Steed. I think it's called Spectral Steed. Number 1, the one that gives you Fly 12, and then the double Bray Shaman, the Hagtree Fetish caster having double power scroll as well. So we just need to shave some points here, and we may have to go... Let's give this character the Cacophonous Dirge. Just going to steal it from the last one. So we can take it out of the character points where we had it before on the Wizard, and we've got it on the Unit Champion. And then we can also drop some numbers here. So if we go down to 20, and if we go down to... okay. That's a little bit of a bugger. A little bit of a bugger. I think, honestly, we can probably downgrade the full plate to heavy armor. I probably wouldn't bother spending the extra 10 points. I don't think it's necessary. It's the 5-up ward that's going to be the main thing. If it's something that's going to kill you, it's hitting you with AP 2 or better anyway. So having a 6-up armor save is not huge, whereas having the 5-up ward save is the big thing. Had it on the character because I foresee the unit champion being sacrificed often. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Like, I get that, but also if we're trying to squeeze, because I really do want like power scrolls here, for example, I think it becomes difficult to fit everything in. Whereas here, we've gone the double power scroll, so you can get 2 really powerful Viletards off. You've still got a pretty survivable character here. It can be T6 with the Demonic Vessel or Vigor, one of the two. You've still got both of those, and we've just lost a couple of models. Just don't use the dagger on him then. Indeed. Indeed. Alright, and that leaves us with 6 points to spend. And 6 points is an awkward amount. It's a shame you can't take unit champions on Warhounds. That would be good. That would be good. Definitely we don't want a unit champion here. What do we spend 6 points on? Ungor 6 points. There we go. If I'm betting on winning combat with the Ogre Blade, guys, and +1 combat res equals -1 leadership for breaking purposes. No. So the difference is, so I'm assuming that this brick is going to win by a decent number a lot of the time, but you're not necessarily going to double outnumber because people are bringing big bricks of infantry. So your people are going to be falling back in good order against you quite a lot. Whereas if you lower their leadership, so say if you're playing against dwarves and you get a wound through with the Mangelder, and you've got the Manbane standard, they go from, say, leadership 9 down to leadership 7, which means that they're significantly more likely to break and run, even if they just lose, even if they lose combat by 10, it doesn't matter. They're just going to fall back in good order most of the time. So you've got to get them below the actual leadership value. But yeah, I like what you've gone for. I'm not saying that my tweaks are perfect, but that is how I would tweak things. And hopefully that gives you some food for thought on a slightly different perspective of the list you've put in there. I do like the Dragon Ogres, though. I'd really like the Dragon Ogres with a Dark Magic caster. Give them Battle Lust as well. That'd be cool. Is Gathering Darkness worth fitting into that list? It's difficult. We've got 2 casters here whose only job is to do max damage with Viletide, and then we've got this caster who's here to make the Primal Warhead fly around the board, and also be pretty buffed up. It would be nice to fit it in, but it would need to be another caster, because I don't really want to sacrifice what any of these casters do. And it would have to be a level 2 caster, so this one probably becomes like a level 2 wizard. And you can't. Yeah, it's hard to tweak, I would say. Oh, what you mean in demonology? It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. That's probably not a bad shout. I tell you what, I'm not going to make that tweak though. I've already copied and pasted. But if you want to put an extra level in, you can. Honestly, like maybe you just take Gathering Darkness where it's fitting, and you don't take Demonic Vigor. It's nice, it's especially nice on infantry, but you can get away with it. But no, that's a good point. In my head, it was in Dark Magic, so I thought you needed another caster. Alrighty then. Alrighty then. How many more rat lists have we got? 2 more rat lists. Do you want a treat? Do you want a ratty treat? Let's have a look at Matthias's 2126 Skaven. Alright. This is the one that I double checked 10 minutes before the stream went live, which is why that it was on starting soon, because I was frantically putting another list in. And this says, how about another Skaven list leaning into ambushing clan rats? Yes, the assassin with the orb is just for the hell of it, but imagine the face of the dwarf player who loses their rolled up king on 1 dice roll. That's true. That's very funny. How does it work again? Let me just remind myself, because can you look out Surrit? That's the important question. No, because it's in the combat phase, that's why. Yeah, so you just touch their king, say, make an initiative test. Oh, you're initiative 4, are you? Well, 1 in 3 chance to just disappear. You don't even lose wounds, so you can't use the new regen against it. So we can leave that in. That's fun. So much cheese in this heat. That's true. That is true. I find it much easier to eat better when it's super warm. So I had another really nice salad for dinner. Just a, like, garden salad with half a pot of tzatziki. And then some croutons as well. So good. Did not know Brass Orb was the thing. Now I want to play Skaven. Well, you might be setting yourself up for a little bit of disappointment, I will say. Yeah, this is Renegades. Okay, cheese can go on salad. It's true. It's true. I don't love like cold cheese on salads. That's a personal preference. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just I don't love it. All right. So the way this list works is we've got a Death Star. We're Stormed of Vermin Death Star. First order of business, we're going to take off the Banner of Vermin of Scurrying, give them the Grand Banner of Superiority, and we're going to take the BSB, who is here. We're going to take off the Superiority and give them Vermin of Scurrying. Why? Because the BSB can be sniped out, the other one can't be. So always put the thing that's getting you into combat there, and then having the extra combat res from the Grand Banner of Superiority on the unit like this. It also helps, you know, fill up core points, which is less of a thing now, but it's still nice to have. I do like a Charm Shield on my unit champions as well that are planning on getting into combat. Alright, so we've got a Demonology Caster, Lore Familiar 2 Warpstone tokens, Warpstone Amulet. Warpstone Amulet is magic resist and a ward save, I think? Or is it just a ward save? No, just a ward save. Okay. You do come with magic resist 1, so it's fine. So a 4-up ward against non-magical attacks. That's nice all of the time that it's nice, and then when it's not nice, it really sucks. 2 Warlords with Skaven Brew. That's good to just be able to hit them with the Frenzy, and also, you know, make sure they're immune to psychology at key moments. Chieftain is nice. Gun Cautious Shield, Talisman of Protection. So this is a really beefy BSB. Like, to be honest, I think you could get away with dropping the Talisman of Protection, but it's fine to leave it on as well. We've got the Master Assassin with throwing weapons and the Brass Orb. The Brass Orb we've just looked at. They've got an Engineer with a musket because we want to take Jezzails, so that's fine. Alright, cool. So this is, like, the character loadout makes sense for what I'm expecting to see for Skaven. Then we've got 2 units of Clan Rats with Warp Grinders, and we've just talked about how I think they're not terrible. I think they're not terrible. They're aggressively not terrible, I would say. They're fine. I'm interested in seeing it, and, you know, having them come in the backfield. The game that I played earlier, my opponent just abandoned their home objective and full sent with everything, so making it harder for someone to do that, you know, they give up points if they do that is quite a nice plan. Gutter Runners. I like Gutter Runners. I don't know that I like Gutter Runners with throwing weapons anymore, because they don't do anywhere near as much damage. I wonder if we just want to swap to Slings and use them as a more defensive piece. You've got longer range, you don't have to be aggressive with them because they're going to kill a lot less. I don't, you know, if you want to go throwing weapons, though, that's fine. I'm not going to change them over. I think both are probably still playable. Does anyone run the Warlord Fellblade these days? Jack Allen won an event a month or 2 ago with that, which is, again, wild. Wild, wild, wild. I think for what you've gone for, Matthias, this just kind of makes sense. I like the theme of what you're going for. The problem is, I think you just lack damage. You're going to struggle to kill anything, realistically. The Storm Vermin can theoretically march up, park in front of something, and then tank a charge and do some damage, but that's your one combat threat. These 2 units are not doing much. These 2 units are not doing anything. This unit is a lot of points for not a lot of value now that Poison is worse, or less value. And then the Jezzails, 8 of them is fine, but remember that means that you're getting like 2.6 hits per turn. It does worry me that this list doesn't have much in the way of damage. I would be tempted, given that you're playing Renegades, to go a pair of Warp Lightning Cannons, because they actually do damage in a way that the other stuff doesn't. And the problem is, what do you do? Like, I'd probably... So feel free to leave it in, and I hope you watch this back for the actual commentary on it, because I like what you've done with this. But I am, I think, going to take it out, and I'm sorry about that. Even though it's fun to have, we're going to take that out. We can just put it on this character here. We'll make it Like, obviously you can't just pop up unexpected, but you can still do the same shenanigans. So we're just saving 140 points to do that. And that means we're still 135 points over. And I think the way that we shave here is, first of all, let's not bother with the thing catcher. Let's just go a Packmaster. And let's also go down to 11. And that means that you can go 3 wide and be 4 deep and have really nice marching columns. Hey, you're here. Fantastic. Fantastic. And then I think the problem is we have to find 120-something points. One of the questions is, do we just drop one of the warlords? Because you've got the Grey Seer in there, you've got the Chief, and you've got a warlord. That's a lot of models. I know you can do, like, retiring shenanigans, but maybe we drop a warlord. Like, so if we were just to math that out, and let's put this, we'll give this character a second Skaven Brew, so you've still got 2 of them. So we've got the warlords here, and that just puts us at 26 points, so we've been a little bit more efficient there. And then we can go to... Honestly, if we just drop one of... is it one... One got a runner and the assassin? Oh, we're still a point over, of course we are. Maybe go down to 10. And then... It's hard to tweak to put things in. I also think weapons teams are a lot more... I guess if you're teleporting or marching around the board, that's not super good here. But the weapons teams being able to stand and shoot, because they're a detachment, is also quite nice. I guess here we could just go back up to... Give one the thing catcher and back up to 12 models on one. And like that sort of change is probably what I'd go with. Tempted to go Fellblade on the Warlord for damage, but it's just so dicey. Yeah, it really is dicey. But I think you can make some efficient cheat cuts. So like drop one of the Warlords, just boost this one up to the 9s. It can always retire if you're worried about it. Gracie is good. Chieftain's good. Engineer's legally got to be here, although it doesn't necessarily need the Warpstone Musket, but it's not a problem that it does. Storm Vermin, I actually would like to see a bigger unit here, but it's hard to find the points. 2 units of Clan Rats. Honestly, this is Renegades, right? Maybe you just drop 1 unit of Clan Rats and you buff up some other stuff. That might be a change you make. Giant Rat Darts are good. These are fine, and then a couple of Warp Lightning cannons to do actual damage. This is all hinging on it being Renegades, so... If it's not meant to be Renegades, advice changes. Alrighty. I hope that was the right person. It was. Excellent stuff. You've seen it one-shot a great and clean one, and seen it whiff entirely. Yep, that sounds like the Fellblade to me. I've also seen my, not my opponents, unfortunately, but people who've taken it to events die before they make it into combat, which is very funny. Very, very funny. Alrighty then. So let's pull this one up. Because it's over here. Okay, sweet. Let's have a palette cleanser. Let's have a look at Cathay. Let's have a look at Ed's Cathay list. Now, Ed said plus the fix, but previously I think had written a decent amount of text with it. So I'm actually going to go up and just find what he said. I've got a system now, so I don't have to go into Discord every time I want to find what people are talking about. But it does limit how much text I can copy and paste. So sometimes I just got to look. All right. 2 lords whose purpose is to take assailment spells and slap stuff about. They're level 4s plus Feng Shi Bow to increase the chance of rolling doppelgangers, but I think there's some play on dropping them to level 2s and taking battle magic instead of the guaranteed signature assailment and yin assailment and saving the points to spend elsewhere. You can't take 2 assailments. You can't take 2 signature spells. I'd be interested in you doing that. It would give me back about 150 points to drop both to level 2 and drop the learned Feng Shi Bow. It's an additional balloon. Q is Naked Balloon versus Spectral Doppelganger. A is Strategist, who is just an expensive ward save for close range balloon. Lancers with Terror and some bonus Terror. Warriors with Terror and no fly for you banner. Cannons because cannons. 1 Sky Lantern in backline support with crane guns. I reckon, yeah, that was... Okay, so obviously we can't take 2 level 4s. That's an illegal list, so let's fix that. What do we got? Jade, Blade of the Great Fleet, and also learned Feng Shi Bow. Let's have a look here. Oh, yeah, this is the great weapon that gives you regen. I really like this caster. What I'm going to say is we're going to drop the Learn Feng Shui Bow here, and we're going to go for the Lore Familiar. So we definitely get the spells we want, but we only need to go 3 spells. So this can be our level 3 caster. Where is Lore Familiar? Why are my eyes betraying me? There we go. Cool. And this is the level 3 wizard, like so. And you've gone Lore of Yin, which gives you... It's not in here. I think Ancestral Warriors is the one we're thinking. Yes, there is an Assailment spell. So yeah, go for the lore that has the Assailment spell, basically. And Illusion. So you're going to go Spectral Doppelganger, Glittering Robes, and then additional spell. This wizard can now be level 4. And you've gone... Oh yeah, you've gone for just double Spectral Doppelganger. I respect it. I think that's really fun. I like that you've gone for that. Alright. Strategist is Dragon Firebombs, Sky Lantern, Dragon Firebombs. Talisman of Protection, Obsidian Lodestone. That's interesting. Lodestone. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's very difficult to find the points to... If this was a Magistrate, you could just give it Spell-Eater Axe for Magic Resist 2 if you wanted it. No, this is fine, I think. I quite like what you've got there. Then you've got the Lancers and the Warriors in Core. Lantern, Crown of Jade, and then Lantern, Icon of Heroic Fury. I do like those. I think this is a solid unit. I need to remind myself what Crown of Jade does. Talisman. I think it gives you a ward save against magic missiles or something like that. I'm going to leave it on there, and I'm going to assume that it makes sense. Apologies. With 1.5, I've stopped thinking about Cathay quite a lot, and I've started thinking about all of the other armies. Longmadun, Lantern number 2 to build. How long does it take you to build the lanterns? Well, I was talking to Rob last weekend. He said he thinks it took him about 7 hours to build 2, which is pretty beefy kit. Pretty beefy kit. Okay, I like your core here. This makes sense. I still actually like the turn off the once per game fly. I think that's really solid, and they have the best version of it because it just does it once per game. You don't have to worry about it. I really like Stubborn on this unit as well. I know you have to find points for it. Stubborn on infantry is so frustratingly good, especially when they've got heavy armor shields. You can't swap into Ancestral Warriors with Lore Familiar, can you? Yes, that is correct. That is correct. So when I said Lore of Yin, ignore me for the Lore Familiar caster. You're only taking the 3 spells that matter anyway. That's fine, but yes, thank you for that. Double Cannon with Ogre Loaders, Sky Lantern, Crown Lantern, Crane Guns, 4++. I think this is good. I think this is a solid list. You're 14 points over because I've added Stubborn on the Jade Warriors. That's a slightly frustrating amount of points. There's actually a frustrating amount of points. See, like, I don't know that you need Stubborn on this unit. I feel like you could lose the Stubborn on the Jade Lancers pretty happily, because you want to be the one doing the charging, right? I also don't hate taking ambushes on them. You don't necessarily use it, but giving you the option, you know, to lower the number of drops you have, I think is really strong for this unit. Sorry, one of my fans has fallen off the table, so I'm just fixing that so I don't spontaneously combust, he said, without a hint of dramaticism. First one took 6 hours at least. Yeah, they look pretty time sinky. We can also lose the Musician on the Jade Lancers. The reason for that is we've got Drilled already, so you can always march, and you're going to be either killing them with damage, or you're going to be losing to combat res. I don't think it's going to be... The fan's done with the heat like the rest of us. Yeah, it was trying to uninstall itself. I like this. I actually really like what you've gone for. I mean, you know I'm a sucker for, like, stupid characters that do Spectral Doppelganger. And you've made the tanky one the General. I like it. I don't think we had to make too many changes here. I think this is a good list, Ed. I mean, you don't know what you're talking about. You're terrible. Whey. Ed is also one of my normal tormentors, for clarity. All right, great stuff. So that was that. And there was also another one that I thought was interested in. Here's one. Yeah, so Saurus Blood just made the cutoff. Good stuff there. This was the last one I got to, and it's an Errantry Crusade list. And I'm really glad that I got to this one, because Errantry Crusade are fun. Very, very fun. So the way Errantry Crusade works is you get Impetuous, but now Impetuous is a leadership test, and this entire army, with the exception of the Duke, has Veteran, so they can re-roll. The Duke obviously joins into the Peg Knights, so you can just re-roll there. Ooh, Grail Knights. Oh, this is spicy. Okay. Alright. Let's have a look. Alistair Shard. Cool. Paladin with the Grail Vow. I feel like you're losing a lot, not just taking the Crusader's Vow. But okay. BSB, no, nothing there. Warhorse. Crusader's Clarion. This is the +1 strength, I believe, for the mounts. Yep, +1 strength for the mounts. That's pretty good. And then we've got Virtue of the Impetuous Knight. This is great. Virtue of the Impetuous Knight makes your charge range longer and your declarable charge range longer. So it's really, really solid. You definitely want to give this guy at least a lance, or if not, magic resist. But I think Lady Elise is going in the same unit, so we'll make sure that we've got a lance on there. And I'm going to drop that Grail down to the Crusader's Vow. I think just having Veteran is so good. And this unit here... Oh, no, this unit's Impetuous, and it doesn't have Veteran. Oh, that's... Ooh. That's interesting. Virtue of Discipline. They have... Oh, they don't have drilled. In my head, Grail Knights just had drilled. Alright. Alright. Errantry Banner, giving them +1 strength. So the horses become strength 6 between this and the Clarion, Crusader's Clarion, which is quite nice. Yeah, interesting. Skaven it is. Maybe they'll get some love in the future. I do want to just warn you, Frankie. There is a non-0% chance that all of the legacy factions will not get rules for 2nd edition and will stop being... They're not officially supported at the moment, but they might not even get the rules PDFs that they have now for 2nd edition. It goes one of two ways. Either they get support and they come back to the game, or they just stop existing for Old World for a bit. So... just, if you're going to financially commit, be careful for that. I wouldn't recommend anyone starts a legacy army if they don't have the models already. Needs the Grail Vow and the Paladin if you want to put them in the Grail Knights. Ah, yes, of course, that old chestnut. You can tell how often I use Grail Knights because of all of their fantastic rules. They do hit hard, I will give you that. Alright, okay, so we're back to Grail Vow. That's fine. Take off the Crusader's Vow. Feels weird only putting 25 points worth of pardon me, items on someone. What I would say as well, let's go Gauntlet of the Duel, just in case there is a challenge that you want to make sure is accepted. It's nice to have that here. It can come up sometimes, and it's not bad for 5 points. Okay. So we've got Duke, Heroism Lance, Great Helm, Siren's Locket. I like this character. This is just like a good, solid, all-rounder character. And then Lady Elise Duchard as well. Double Errants, good. Knights of the Realm on foot. I like the Knights of the Realm on foot. I like them more with the Impetuous Vow, but it's been used elsewhere. Great Weapon Shields, Crusader's Vow. I'll be honest, I don't love Great Weapons. I like combat res and support characters with Foot Knights. But I'm assuming you've gone for them because you like the Great Weapons. And I think what you might find is you're going to play this a bit, and you're not going to use the Great Weapons very much. And you can come back and you can just cut 40 points and put something else in. Squires, having Scout Corps is quite nice, just in case you need it for, scoring, although this should definitely be bigger. Let's make it like 14 or something so it can actually hold objectives. And with that in mind, we can drop the Standard Bearer. And Fire and Flee... it's fine, it's not super exciting. I also would like this unit of Pegasus Knights to be a bit bigger, but it's... yeah, I think this is fine. Banner of Honourable Warfare is pretty decent as well. Means that you're rerolling hits on the Duke who's going after the dragons, for example. So I think solid stuff there. This just puts us 40 points over, so I'm going to say let's go down to 17 And then we're only 10 points over. We've got to make some cuts. It's hard to make cuts in this list. It really is hard to make cuts in this list. I think it has to be from 8 down to 7 Grail Knights. And that leaves us with enough points to maybe just buff these back up. Something like this. 19. Yeah, I think something like this would be my go-to. I'd like this unit of Pegasus Knights to be bigger. I think there's over... like, double character in here is like an over level of commitment for a unit that is impetuous. I think it's fine. I think if I'm going into Errantry Crusade, I'm more interested in going a big brick of Knights of the Realm on foot, giving them the virtue of the Impetuous Knight through a character, stacking combat res on them, make it so they can charge a decent distance. They're really sort of hard to shift. They've got veterans, so they get some rerolls. There's just a lot of good rules in there. They pay the points for it, but I think they're definitely worth thinking about in that sort of way. So if I go at this was Saurus. Yeah, I believe this is it's there. Oh, I didn't paste the heat is killing me, man. You can tell on the... There's been a couple of Fix My Lists where in the middle of like a heat wave, and you can just tell that I'm struggling to have brain and do think. So apologies for that. Alrighty then, where are we up to? Okay. So, we've got a few more to get through. Let's have a look at some of these. And we're going to go with... we'll come back to... Oh no, let's have a look at Mr. Lee's list. So Mr. Lee, planning my list for LGT, don't think the pack's available yet. Here's a list I'm thinking. Dragon with Spell Eater Axe. Help against magic. So, this is one that I would absolutely say we need to make some changes to. This Prince, this is High Elves. You've got a full plate shield, so you've got a 3-up armor save, and then you've got an enchanted shield, so you've paid for a shield twice, but that's okay, we can take that off. But you've got a 6-up ward save against non-magical attacks and no other level of defenses. Magic resist is nice, but ward saves and regens are super important. Oh, you've got the Seed of Rebirth in there. I'd just be going... You know, magic resist would be cool, but let's just go for a Talisman of Protection, like so. We've got the Seed of Rebirth as well. And then you can go for something like a Sword of Might, just to make sure that you've still got magical attacks if you're worried about that. Although the Green Knight is banned, I believe, from the LGT, so you could probably... In fact, yeah, screw it. Green Knight's banned from LGT. They're not even going to use it. So you could go if you wanted... where's it gone? Single Opal Amulet, I think you've got points for. And... Ooh... Then we don't have enough for a good weapon. You could go Cavalry Spear. It's okay. You're less worried about doing damage with the weapon and more about surviving and letting the dragon do things. So, something like that feels fine. Lol, get bent Green Knight. That's, yeah, true. I've just started playing Bretonians, because obviously I want to do them for the channel. And it hasn't got back to Richie yet. I was talking to him about High Elves earlier, and he hasn't. No one's narked on me that I'm thinking about playing armies that I'm not looking at for Worlds. So thanks, friends. For the low cost of 555 points, he could have a T7 Noble on Frost Phoenix. I don't think he could. Oh yeah, with the Banner of Resilience. Yes, yeah, that would suck. You get so few wounds for mounting a Phoenix, and that's like it's hard to justify. So you hold on. Let me just show you for anyone who isn't aware of why this is not something that you see. So Frost Art Phoenix, you start off with 2 wounds or 3 wounds. You only get plus 3 wounds for paying 205 points for a Phoenix. I could get 3 wounds for riding a Griffin for 130 points, or I could ride a Star Dragon, which gives me plus 4 wounds. And again, I do need to take Blood of Calidor for that. But look, Sun Dragon. Plus 4 wounds. For less points. They really missed the boat on how to put the Phoenixes in and make them interesting, I think. Cool. So you've got a dragon here that we've just made a bit more, a bit harder to remove, in my opinion. Still got Magic Resist 1 on there. Archmage, we've gone for Ruby Ring of Ruin, Lore Familiar, Seed of Rebirth. Okay, so we're looking at the range damage build. I don't think you need Seed of Rebirth. I think just don't get hit would be my advice. Which is not, you know, you're an elf. It's not hard to not get hit. So you're going to be taking Fireball. You're going to be taking Arcane Urgency. You're probably going to take Oaken Shield. Yeah, I guess you don't need a 4th spell. Battle Magic. Look what they did to my boy. Look how they massacred my boy. Okay. Dragon Princes. Great stuff. Love that. Cloak of Beards giving them Terror. Obsidian Lodestone giving them Magic Resist 1. Full Command is fine. Although I wouldn't say no to some more combat res. It's fine. I don't see a use for this here. I think you said something about having the War Lions to go and deal with enemy whatchamacallums, war wagons, cabbage wagons. But you having to take 5 White Lions at 70 points to take 5 War Lions at 90 points, which are like, yes, they do come in, you know, with toughness 4, but they have 1 wound. They have no armor save. They're just war dogs, but at over twice the price. So we're going to cut both of those. The Great Eagle's not bad for being an annoying backline harassment unit. It is a little bit annoying that it doesn't have the unit strength to just destroy a cabbage wagon, but to deal with. Now, Spearmen. I don't hate Spearmen, and everyone I've said this to has told me that I'm wild. So, yeah. Maybe we're wrong. But this brick here, oh, I don't know about Lion Standard. We don't need Lion Standard. We can just go War Banner. So let's go 1 unit of Spearmen, because 1 unit of Spearmen I think is decent, and let's buff them up to 30 models, like so. So this is a unit that's going to stand there. It's got technically it has spears, but you're just going to use hand weapon shield. You've got shield wall. You can go veteran. I don't hate it for a single unit, but it's got a lot of combat res, and you've got shield wall, and you just auto give ground instead of falling back in good order when you roll that one, which is nice. 2 Illyrian Reavers. These are fine. I wouldn't mind having short bows on them. I know it's expensive. But I definitely want to be able to flex them instead of just using them aggressively. And then I would say you're looking for some fast units or scoring units. Silver Helms are not bad. Something like 6 Silver Helms twice. Puts us over. Of course it puts us over. That's such a faff. I'm not against a unit of Silver Helms, but it does make the points a little bit awkward to fill. So we're over on points here. Can we 270 points. We could go for another unit of Dragon Princes. What if we just dropped Cloak of Beards is quite nice. What if we drop the Lodestone? We drop both of these, and we say, here's 2 units of Dragon Princes. And this just gives you a lot more pressure. And you do... Oh, hold on, you've got to take Cloak of Beards off one of them, because that's illegal. Yep, there we go. So, at which point maybe we just go back into having full command, like so. I don't hate it. I do not hate that. You've got 2 punchy units that can support the Prince. Make sure that you're not getting tied up in challenges. That's pretty key. The Archmage can do damage at range. The Spearmen are useful, and then you've got 2 squads of Illyrian Reavers that can flex into multiple roles and don't have to be the challenge bots for the Dragon, because you've got the Dragon Princes as well. I think I like this list more than I like having... Oh, God, they're 9 points a model. Yeah, there's got to be something we can fit in for 5 points. It's really hard to fit anything in. Pure of Heart's just the default, because it's so good. It makes you immune to panic. I think you just got to go with this. The Dragon Princes really like going fast as well. I wouldn't hate putting in a Stormweaver here, a level 3 Stormweaver, but it's a lot of points that we don't have, so let's not even toy with that. Yeah, I think this is fine. We have to fill those last... We can't just leave 8 points. That's too many. Oh, you can't even put a shield on your unit champion. God damn it. What if we went... Nope, then we're 2 points over. I wouldn't hate Veteran and drop the Musician. Alright, that's what we're going to do. But feel free to make tweaks. But this is sort of my general vibes. Like, that unit Spearman, as a list that can just sort of sit there and take objectives, it is expensive for what it does. But I'm curious to see it played around with. And then the double unit Dragon Princes give you some actual punch to go with the dragon as well, which I think is really good. Charm Shield on champion, I wish, man. I wish you could put it on the champion. Sentinels just can't have anything. I also really like Sea Guard. Well, really. I kind of like Sea Guard. They're an interesting unit. Okie dokie. On the Dragon Prince. Yeah, that's not bad. Okie dokie. Well, let's go for another Skaven list. We've got TJ's Renegade Skaven. Let's have a look at this one. So, TJ's list said... Notes. Taking my first try at Skaven, don't really know where to begin, and looking for some input and a 2k army so I can start hobbying. Okay, so this is Renegades as well. And I think some of the choices in here I really like. The Warp Blinding Cannons are great. I do like those. The Storm Vermin Brick with the Banner of Verminous Scurrying. Again, we're just going to swap this round so that we've got the Combat Res banner on the unit, and we've got the Swift Stride banner on the BSB. We can do some interesting things to make this a bit more reliable, but I like that brick here. Let's just make this unit slightly bigger. It doesn't look like much, but it just means that you've got slightly... I don't know. I don't know if it's worth making a tweak. Oh, sorry, we want Master Molder as well. So this gives you Leadership 7, and you can go into 4 ranks of 3 in Marching Column. And then when you take some damage as well, you can then flex into being able to charge and do some damage, which is interesting. I found these 12 models, including one of them being the Master Molder, to be very effective. This unit of Clan Rats, I guess they're kind of worth having in theory, because you need something to stand an objective. So I don't hate having them there. Storm Vermin, again, very similar sort of vibe there. I would like a Charmed Shield on the unit champion, make them a bit more tanky. And then let's go... So you've got a Warlord with Skaven Brew, like that. Let's give them Heavy Armoured Shield as well, in case they need to flex into it. It's unlikely, because you can always just go to the back if needs be, but it's nice to have. Then you've got double Grey Seer. So this Grey Seer with Demonology makes a lot of sense. Lore Familiar, Power Scroll, Warpstone tokens, Demonology. It is juiced to the nines. But then you've got this character, and I don't actually know what it's doing with Elementalism. I think I'd probably drop this. I don't know that it's bringing much to the list. Warlords, I think, have the best. Are they 7? Wait, do Grey Seers have Leadership 8? No, they're both 7. This character's theoretically going to be retiring to the back a lot, so it's probably fine to give this character. Good evening, late to the party, is away on holiday, but just jumping in now. Hell yeah, hope you had a good holiday, Sheepman. How goes the 1.5 shenanigans? It's interesting lists. There are a lot of interesting lists. I'm not sure about these gutter runners. You know what, actually, I don't hate them. I actually think you've kind of picked out all of the good stuff here. So we've got 200 points to spend. Because I've dropped one of the wizards. You could put a second wizard in. I just don't think it was adding all that much. You might say, oh, it's for elementalism for the gutter runners, but you've got a 1 in 3 chance to not roll it, and then... Yeah, I'd be less comfortable putting it on the gutter runners. They're probably going to ambush in, honestly, and try and just mess around in the back lines. So maybe we... Matthew's looking for an Italian taxi, might be here for some time. We can do yours next, Matthew. I don't hate, on a unit that's going to stay in the back lines, a Rattling Gun. If you have this on a hill behind the Clan Rats or off to the side, you can stand and shoot with it, because it's a detachment. And this thing kind of puts out damage, so let's just say we're going for a unit of Clan Rats there. This one, because it's probably going to march around with Demonology, I wouldn't bother, but I would make the unit maybe a little bit bigger. Like, we could go up to 28 here. Then the question becomes, what else are we going to do in terms of the list? So I like what we've got here. This can have a pistol or a musket. Let's just give it a musket. Or... we could give it a... No, we'll go musket. And then, honestly, I think we probably just start by putting these up to 8, so the multiples of 4. Makes you less likely to run away. Unit champions are really good now, so even if you get charged, there's a not terrible chance that you just win combat. Like, not by a dragon, but say you get charged by a griffin that does 1 wound to you, and then you have outnumber infantry, and you tie, or something like that. Can be a pain in the backside. What are we going to do to fill this last point? Honestly, like, maybe just an extra Storm Vermin. Like, something like this I think is fine. you've got the cannons for damage. The gutter runners do some okay damage, worse than they did before. The storm vermin's like a pretty respectable brick. The clan rats hold an objective at home. The giant rats are good, sort of like marching column pains in the backside, and then you've got all the support here. I think this is the version that I'd be looking at as a starting point. I think I think that works out pretty well. Oh, I can't even see my keyboard to type at. There we go. Here we go. Any infantry build for Dark Elves? Not in the fixed my list. I also don't know what you do with Dark Elves for infantry. Their spearmen is so much worse. Like, I'm not interested in taking big bricks of infantry unless it's specifically infantry that I want to, you know, in core that I'm going to score with. So it's hard to say what Dark Elves can do infantry-wise. Okie dokie. Well, let's have a look at Matthew's list. And there were a good chunk of notes on this one, so I need to scroll up and have a look at them. Matthew. It was a doubles list. That's what we're looking at here. Doubles. How far up was it? I'm starting to wonder if I've gone past it. Gosh, I hope not. Hey, there we go. Refresh of a doubles list for Warhammer World. Given the changes, I'll be on the move a bit this evening, dialing when I can. Only constraints are that you want to build the Lancers with command group, and I've got 10 so far, which steers towards a single unit, and Warhammer World means what you see is what you get. Yep, that's fine. One each of the Cathay stuff otherwise, and 2 Shigangan Lords. And then the thing that it's with is a captain on general with full plate shield and a great weapon, sure. Maybe change that over to a lance. Wizard Lord level 3 Lore Familiar Battle Magic, that's fine. I wouldn't hate a power scroll now if you could sneak it in, but it's hard to do. Engineer with a long rifle. The long rifle can be dropped for points for, you know, other stuff if you need it. 24 state troops, full upgrades with Griffin Standard, and then 2 detachments of 5 missile troops and 2 great cannons. I like that Empire list. So let's go from there. So, this is the doubles list to go with the Empire. And the Empire list, I think, is pretty much there. Then you've got the Magistrate, who's on a Sky Lantern with Sky Lantern guns with Dragonfire bombs. I probably wouldn't pay for the Dragonfire bombs unless I'm also paying for the Dragonfire bombs here. I think you probably just go full commitment in terms of offense, or you just stay with the Sky Lantern guns and you don't bother with these. Let's give you a ward save, though. I think that's very important. So we're just going to go Talisman of Protection. Given that you're not trying to get up close and personal, we don't need to spend the extra 5 points for the Crystal of Kunlan. There we go. Cannons here are good. We could shave some points on the gunpowder bombs. I don't hate them, but I think they're maybe a little surplus to requirements. And then you've got this unit here with a Spirit Lantern drilled as well. You don't need stubborn on here. Yeah, so I like what you've gone for. I don't actually think there's much that needs to be changed. And is this in here? Ooh. Anyone remind me what Banner of the Bastion does? Because I can't remember specifically Cathay. This list needs 5 more lanterns in it. I think I've already read that, and I think that's just a symptom of my brain being turny-offy. But in terms of like coming with the Empire list that's got 2 cannons already, I do like it. Hey, thank you, Matthew, Daniel, Caleb, and Zaloria. I think I may have said that right. And Has a Flavor, who got there first. 5 of you on the ball with Shield Wall. Yeah, I like that. I like Shield Wall. If we're doing that, I'm definitely paying for Stubborn, though. Stubborn Shield Wall is the combo. If you don't have Stubborn, Shield Wall becomes a lot less exciting. So that puts us 52 points over, which is not too bad. And I think the way that we do that is we drop the gunpowder bombs. In theory, they shouldn't be getting to charge you. Wall of Shield Wall in the chat. Yeah, absolutely. It's great stuff. And I think it's super easy to fix this, because all you do is you go like -1 here, and minus the second one. A unit of 8? Is a unit of 8 big enough? We do have to... It's the problem with these lower points levels. It's hard to get as much of everything as what you want in. Because if we drop... I mean, we could drop down to 8 Lancers, which I don't hate. I think 8 is absolutely fine. You could go like 6 wide with 2 in the back rank, or 5 wide with 3 in the back rank. And then we go Talisman of Protection as well. Sorry, Charm Shield on the unit champion. Like this would work out nicely. The other thing you can do is cut some points somewhere to get up to 10 Lancers, but I don't know where you cut points, because there are not points to cut. Is a little bit of an issue. Couldn't figure out the points. Question whether no fly is better than Spirit Lantern. No, I like the Terror. I think that's really good. Terror's really good. Also, obviously, you go hand weapon shields on the warriors. I'm not sure if that was just not clicked in by me, but that would be... Oh, yeah, this list's illegal. You need 3 non-character units. Bugger. Bugger. Well... Man, that sucks. Because it's so hard to fit anything else in. Empire is primary, this is secondary. Oh, what? So you don't need to have... Oh, okay, sure. Sweet. Well, in that case, this works. And low number of drops is nice. Let's go. I always, for some reason, type MHJ instead of MJH. I don't know why. But I think... ally rules. Oh, yeah, you can tell that I've read those, he said. Do cannons not count as a non-character unit? No, so you need non-swarms and non-war machines. As Steve likes to point out, anytime it comes up, I sent him to a tournament with an illegal list because I forgot I'd sent him with like 4 or 6 war machines. Alright, looks good there. How many we got left? Did we already look at a cons list? Yes, we did. Perfect. I'll move that up there. And we're down to the last 4, I think. 4. Alright. Zaloria. Something like that. Also Cathay. And I did see you in the chat very recently. So let's have a look at your list. So, you have gone for more lanterns. This is a war crime. I hope you understand that. But I will help you maximize it. Even though it's a war crime. So, the core, you've gone 2 units of Lancers and 16 Jade Warriors. Then in Special, you've gone a Lantern. In Rare, you've gone 2 Lanterns. And in Special, you've got 2 Cannons with Overloaders. This is pretty optimal. This is already very good. You've also got here the characters that can have ward saves are the ones that have got the aggressive loadouts. Again, that's pretty damn good. So, let's just go through the characters. Magistrate General. I feel like the Sky Lantern bombs are really good. I think it's worth finding 45 points for them. Don't ask me how we're going to do that. May have to drop a balloon. I actually think dropping a balloon may be correct, just to get these Sky Lantern bombs. So, you've got here Talisman of Protection, Armor of Meteoric Iron. 5 up, 4 up. 5 up at all times. Good stuff. Crystalline Kunlan, a nice ward save on the Strategist. And then the other Strategist, Shield of the Warrior True, which is a ward save against all attacks made in the shooting phase, which is, magic missiles and other shots there. So that's good. The other thing you can do is the Crown of Jade, which is... I always forget. I think it's a ward save against magic missile attacks. But yeah, I like the this here. You're not planning to get into combat. Drop the bombs for points. Yeah, I've been on the receiving end of them. They're pretty tasty. They're pretty good. Jade Lancer's ambush with Alchemist Mask is a little bit of a numbo, but I really like the ambushes to make sure you've got first turn, so it's worth taking as a numbo. The reason it's a numbo or a non-combo is because you can't cast it the turn you come in. But again, that's fine. Just come on from ambushes turn 2 or 3 and then start hexing. Morshard is quite nice as well as magic resist, making your opponent miscast more. It's magic defense is what I was trying to say. God, this heat. And again, yeah, all really good stuff there. And then these warriors. I'd probably go... You definitely want... You 100% want a unit champion. You definitely want a standard. Just so that you've got some stacked combat res. I'd be tempted to... We're really going to have to cut some points here. Yeah, we're cutting 1 Sky Lantern, I think. I think 2 at the back of the board is good. And then having... the 3 that go forwards aggressively do a lot of work is probably the way to build here. In terms of this, we've got some points. I am not opposed to going Stubborn and the Banner of the Bastion. That takes us up to very close to cap, and you could just go something like this and Charmed Shield. I added onto the list and add it. Yeah. So, because you've got, like, these three are going to do the big damage. These two are flying around and just sort of peppering at range. They're a lot less valuable, so losing the third one is not the end of the world. The cannons are really nice. Whereas the warriors, this unit can actually stand on a point and is annoying to shift. And by the time your opponents put the melee unit into that, you've had time to light up the rest of their army or to, set up to shoot them as well there. And then these two units are very good as well. Obviously, not a lot of combat prowess in this list, but some tanky stickiness there, some ambush maneuverable threat here that can kind of punch, and then just so much range damage and so much close range damage. This would be the version I'd go with. And even though I've taken out one of the balloons, I think it has more damage, which is very upsetting. Okie dokie. Oh, hold on. I've definitely just tagged the wrong person, so let me fix that before I... There we go. There we go. Perfect. Coming soon to a tournament scene near you, the Sky Lantern list. I don't think that my lists are suited to play into it for Worlds, so I'm hoping that by the time I go back to playing singles, it's been nerfed. That's my big goal. That's my big goal. Perfect. Alright, what have we got next? Let's have a look at Vesper's list. I did see Vesper not too long ago. And this was a grand... No, that was it. I need to read the notes on this one, but I think it was... Wasn't it? No, it was Grand Army. I'm talking about my backside. I think there's 3 High Elf lists in this one. Oh, very exciting. This lists are a down payment on a car, your choice. Yeah, so yes, but also 3D prints. If people go for 3D prints, and then they can also bring things that are a little bit easier to transport. If you want to play this sort of list, I definitely recommend that. So, Vesper says, this is a themed list, which I would like to keep the Yvresse theme of, with emphasis on bird aerial threats, but also wanted to open up the discussion and gather your views regarding the High Elves on several things. For one, the role of characters in the developing meta and how to kit them out. Although my instinct is to go double dragon, I feel like now is the time to experiment with different configurations. This may not be it. Secondary, what would be the place High Elf Core infantry occupies? In this place, Spearmen, as I like the flexibility of bringing 2 detachments to serve as both ranged threats with better bows than Seaguard, and also capable of sitting near an objective. Thirdly, I think Elementalism is the best law for High Elves, unless it's specifically a high mobility list that might benefit from the likes of Arcane Urgency. Fourth, what sort of balance of chariots versus cavalry is the sweet spot? You've been writing lists with Tyrannok chariots, okay, which work well with Elementalism supported by Dragon Princes, but I wanted to give the Skycutter a fair shake as well. Alrighty then. If you could take Tyrannok chariots and core, I would be very happy to take them. So, I don't think you can take this in special. I mean, it doesn't matter. Yes, Seaguard, Elven Honor. Or if you've gone... Oh, you have gone Seaguard. Okay, so let's have a look at the list. So the list is immune to fear and terror. Again, I don't know that that's necessary. I think I'd like more combat res, but fine. Shield Wall Veteran, 29 mod points. And then 2 detachments of 10 archers. That's fine. That is all 1 drop, so it keeps the drops low. Dragon Princes, 2 Lodestone, War Banner, which is full command. And then double Skycutter. Supporting those, you've got a Prince who is on a Skycutter. Okay. Seed of Rebirth, Armor of Caledor, Ring of Fury, Opal Amulet. With a shield? With a shield. Rebirth, Amulet, Ring of Fury, Opal Amulet. And Seaguard, which gives you a bow for free, but you can't take it because you're taking a great weapon. Yeah, I mean, chariots are more interesting, right? Swift Stride chariots have a pretty decent place in the meta, I think. This has D3 plus 1 impact hits at Strength 5, and it's AP 2. All of your attacks are either First Strike, which becomes Initiative 6 because you have Last Strike on the Great Weapon, or you've got Initiative 4 for the crew and the Rock. So depending on what you go into, you can kind of carve through it pretty well, which I do like. Then you've got a Foot Wizard, Elementalism, Spell Eater Axe for the Magic Resist, Pure of Heart, Single Power Scroll. That's fine. And then we've got this Noble, Banner of Resilience, Griffin. So you've got a T6 Griffin. That's interesting. T6 Griffin. Do I care about a T6 Griffin? Not really. Not really. I like Warbanner here. And I know you've got it in the list already. My apologies. But if I'm going a noble BSB on Griffin, I like Warbanner because it gives me 2 combat res. I think this has got to be like a hit and run / supportive threat. So Lance works better because you get to keep your armor safe. Or alternatively, you give the Dragon Helm, but you haven't got the points for it. And then you've gone 5/5 up here. This is like aggressively solid. I think it's good. This character here, great weapon. So 3-up save against shooting. Is there anything that we'd want to tweak here? So you've got Armor of Calidor, Opal Amulet. So you've got a once per game 2-up ward save. That's not bad. That's not bad. And the Ring of Fury is still okay. It gives you some protection against ethereal threats at least. So I like that. And then the Archmage with the Magic Resist, Elementalism to pick spells. Yeah, okay, so I think all the characters work here. And then here we do have to drop War Banner. I like Rampaging Banner, honestly, on Dragon Princes. If you're being aggressive with them, let's just make sure we're getting in. I think that's really important. And that leaves us with 50 points. You're using the Chariots as a full send threat. But you've also got some shooting here. Is it worth putting... it's probably not worth putting the bolt throws on, because you want to use them aggressively, right? So we do still have 50 points left to spend. You've come to the rampaging side, actually. Yeah, it just feels good to have. I look so sparkly, is that the chroma key messing up? Because I've got 2 fans plugged in, Strifey. I can't have my studio lighting turned on, because I have limited number of plug sockets. It's... Yeah, I mean, you can probably tell, but it's pretty hodgepodge back here. It is not a professional setup. It is kit bashed together with what I have or could afford at the time. So yeah, that's why I'm maybe a little bit sparkly, because I have more light on me, so I'd have to adjust the settings. Thoughts on the battle banner on the BSB over war banner? You could go that way, yeah. You know what? We've got the points for it. We're not struggling for points. So battle banner is kind of cool. Getting that plus D3, which is nice, and then I'd be tempted to drop the Lion Standard here and go War Banner. Yes, you don't automatically pass Fear or Terror, but you have plus combat res, which is more used most of the time, and you have your own threats to deal with their terror causes, and you've got a high leadership. I know earlier I said to always take Rune of Courage on Dwarves, but you can take Rune of Courage and Rune of Battle, so it's harder to fit it in here. Very unsure on the Lion Standard anyway. I think it has its place, and if your meta is super terror causey, I could see it being a place, but I think we swoosh things around and we go Battle Banner Noble, so you have 2 to 4 combat res. You go for the War Banner on the Spearman, so you have, combat res there, and then we've got the Dragon Princess with Rampaging Banner, and I think that just works out nicely. And then something like +1 model here, and our old friend, Charmed Shield, on the Dragon Prince Champion. And I think this works. I like that you've got the prince that can buddy up with the noble or the dragon princes. Not the Skycutters. Unfortunately, they don't have unit champions on them. That would be a reason to put in Tyrannoc Chariots. So if you went Tyrannoc Chariot... Oh, no, you can't go champions on these as well. Never mind, talking out my backside. Yeah. I like these. They can add damage. And you can pin things in the front. Remember that unit champions can't move through the ranks. And characters can move through the ranks, but only if they're not in the fighting rank already. So if they're in the fighting rank, and by that I mean you charge them in the side, and they are, in the edge of the unit that you charged, or 1 in, they can't move. Or if you've pinned them in the front with something like a chariot, a swift strike chariot, you can then hit them in the side with your dragon, and they can't move out of the fighting rank into another fighting rank. Yeah, no, Master, that's a good shout. That is a good shout. I've tried to fit it in before, but because I try to pair it with a dragon normally, that's where the points get really tight. Very curious to see how the Spearmen perform. I've only played with Seagull, but I find that having a more specialised unit might be less of a headache. I like them on paper. They're cheap for elves, disclaimer. They have, hand weapon. They've got a 4-up save in combat. They've got shield wall and veteran. Like, it just feels pretty okay. I do not hate them. So, yeah. I think that's just good. I think that just works, you know? So yeah, I think this is the direction that I'd go in. The other thing you can do is, I don't know that you need the detachment, but I like the detachment in terms of keeping drops low. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops, which is really low, so you can be aggressive with this thing. You could drop the archers, and you could go for like some core cavalry. That would be additional champion challenge bait. And you can still do the Ring of Fury spam, it's just not as good as it was, I think. Given how good magic resist is now. So, let's go with this at Vesper. And then I will paste, like so. Cool. Cool. Alrighty then. I made a conscious choice to go down from, like, I was squeezing in like 18 to 20 before the FAQ, and I made a conscious choice to go down to 15 because we're now at 10 o'clock and I've only got a couple left to do, but there's so much more to talk about at the moment, which is cool. Let me know how it performs. Hell yeah, love to hear more about high elves at all times. Keep saying that low drops are good. There is also merit in lots of drops, so you can fully see your opponent's deployment. There 100% is. And it depends what your army can do. So Skaven and Beastmen are very good armies to do lots of drops, because you can put down like a 50-point Razor Gore or a 40-point unit of rats, and you can make them put down basically the whole army if they've gone for a low number of drops. But then if you want to be really aggressive, like say you've got Swift Stride. So Beastmen want a full push up the board, and they don't necessarily have any threats that are going to be super fast. Although now that people are running, you know, big Death Stars with Demonology, maybe that changes. But yeah, and remember that you can choose the +1 to go first, or you get the +1 to choose, so you can go second or first if you prefer on winning the roll-off in the match play guide. Yeah, and when you've got high mobility, that's a really good point. When you've got like dragons and swift stride chariots, you can just be like, whatever, it doesn't matter where you are, I can adjust on turn 1 if need be. Alright, Strife. Is it Renegades? Ah, yes, the title for this was Is it Renegades? So Strife, who I have seen in the chat, you consistently put in a Jason, and I really appreciate that, and the Jason's always broken, and I don't know why. Do you, like, what do you have like a Windows phone or something? I'm just trying to work out why your Jasons are broken and most people's aren't. I'm assuming it's something to do with, I don't know. Hello, I just got there. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I don't know why, but it's an early draft of a magic missile / control type list. Is it Renegades? I put that here because, given that I had to manually put it in, I'm not sure. As advice in my Wild Herd, find Death Star, would you say better for me to go first or second, still learning here? It can be either. If your opponent has got a unit that you want to put your Death Star in front of, going first is back-breaking, because you can just march 24 inches and stop an inch away from them and be like, you can charge me. You're welcome to charge me. I just get an extra combat round. It's not Renegades for now. Good man. So this is just regular. So this does make it worse, in that you just have a ward save some of the time. But I like the choice you've gone for. I think it's interesting. So you've got the charioteer choice. Yeah, that is something I was thinking about. So the flamers here are interesting. So flamers are going to be casting, because they're demonology, right? It doesn't say. For some reason, it's not letting me pick. Maybe it's because... I don't know. Either way, so the Exalted Flamer is a level 1 caster, which is great. And, you know, you've picked Terminology, but you're only going to be casting if you roll an 8, which is like 44% of the time. And because you're only casting with +1, you're more likely to be dispelled. So I'm a little worried about that. But they do have some output anyway. Like, the Warp Flames are quite nice. Please don't crap out on me, Internet. You've been doing so well this evening. Until TOs decide how to handle Renegades in 1.5. Yeah, that's super fair. So, multiple shots, move and shoot, quick shot. So there's a little bit of anti-synergy here, because the Flamers kind of want to march and shoot a lot of the time. Which is... but, yeah, I don't know. I like them as a unit. I think they're just a little bit confused about what they want to do. Flamers at level 1, caster +2. Oh, of course they do. Thank you. You can always tell when it's an army or a unit that I haven't looked at much because they've been considered to be terrible for so long, and I'm having to rethink things with 1.5. They get +1 to cast. No. That's... Ooh. Unless they aren't wizards. Maybe they're not. Let's just assume they are. I think they become worse. Okay, so yeah, you're casting on a 7, so you're getting off 56% of the time. That's not awful. I like the Skull Cannons. I've said that already. I like the Flamers, now that you've reminded me that they cast at +2. They do some moderate damage with the shooting and some decent damage with the magic missile. Let's assume they are. Yeah, I agree. This unit's cool. I like it. Of course, you're never taking the actual... where's it gone? It's not in here. Anyway, obviously they're not taking the pink fire or blue fire or whatever it's called, because the magic missile spell that demons get is objectively terrible. They are taking the hex, which is like -D3 to strength and toughness, something like that. Lore of Demons. Let's just look at it, because it's been a hot minute since I've checked. Yeah, so -3 D3 to one or more characteristics. They're probably only going off on an 8, but they will be casting at +4, so maybe it's better. But you can nerf their weapon skill, strength, and toughness, and that's just pretty good. Nerfing toughness is the big one, really. Main takeaway from Nidalee says Skull Cannons look pretty good. Their first charge hitting you. Oh, that I didn't know that. Wow, that's an interesting place to put first charge. They're impetuous, which is less bad now, to be fair. The big thing that I noticed was you didn't make your Furies any sort of demon. So Slanesh is quite nice because you go a little bit further. I really like Khorne. It doesn't give them impetuous, just gives you +1 to strength. Really solid. Gets them up to 2 attacks because of their Furious charge. Strength 5, AP 1 with the Demonic Talons. Like, Khorne Furies, I think, is maybe the best unit in the book, just as a standalone. I really, really like Khorne Furies. Brimstones, as you said, you wanted to keep them. That's fine. I think Swarms are very interesting as well in a scoring world. They're kind of hard to remove. They don't get removed by shooting very easily. These will potentially crumble very quickly, but just round out points would definitely put a mark of the Furies. Yeah, we'll cut something else to make it fit in. So this unit here, I think it's so punishing if you have to roll on the unstable. Like, you know, if you roll a 6/6, you just die. So if you have a musician and if you don't have a musician, they do, and then you roll a 6/6, you just lose 300 points plus character. And drop the chariots and take more flamers and heralds. So that's potentially an option, because here, instead of chariots, although the problem is the chariot makes them kind of tanky, so you get 4 wounds additional, so you get 6 wounds at T4 with a 5-up ward. They come with a 4-up armor save, or is it a 5-up? Yeah, 4-up armor save, and they're -1 to hit from Iridescent Corona. So I don't hate it. They're like kind of tanky. Obviously, you're coming with some decent or like half decent shots there, and the chariot is inch as well. Only comes with melee, but the melee it comes with is not awful, because you've got the strength user AP1 multiple wounds D3 against monsters. Okay, it's only against monsters, but still, it's not awful. Lord of Change not worth it. He's large target. He's a monster, so he's got 90 degree vision arc, whereas these two have much better vision arcs. I think he's too many points for what this is trying to do. I like what this is trying to do. Obviously, this is a level 1 caster that's just going to be trying to cast, I'm assuming, Demonology again. Annoyingly, it doesn't let you pick a lore unless you put them in here. But large targets don't die to poison anymore. Yeah, they can be seen and charged more easily is the problem. So you can theoretically be charged by like Pegasus Knights and stuff, because you're just visible over everyone else. Makes it harder. They get blasted by the no-fly zone for the 1 turn 2. They do, but they've got a 6-inch move, I think, on the Lord of Change. Yeah, that's fine. I don't mind that. It's the same as a dragon. I like what you've gone for here. I do like what you've gone for. I think the horrors make it a bit hard to fit points in, but you said you wanted to keep them in. The cannons are good. The flamers are interesting, verging on maybe good. The pink horrors are decent, verging on maybe good, because they're casting with +4. I didn't explain how this works. They have scintillating sorcery. They pick the hex spell, and they cast it as a bound spell with power level equal to rank bonus, but the icon of sorcery means that they count their rank bonus as twice for bound spells. So specifically, pink horrors will be casting at +4. So you don't really want to drop too many points here. This model, BSB on foot, just in a unit, is fine. Twin heads here, it makes sense because you want to try and get more spells known. I really don't know where we cut points. Maybe, because we need to cut 28. It might just be that we have to go, and it's a bit sad to go down to 10, but it might just be that we drop 2 Furies. I'd rather have 10 with Mark of Khorne, I think, than I would have 12 without Mark of Khorne. It's so easy to lose, 3 models that you just don't get to score with them anyway. Because they're an aggressive unit. If it was a shooting unit, I'd value the 12 more, I think. The Swift Fight Stride for some reason, yeah. In non-renegade, demons get murdered by magic resist, and giving the magic missiles and giving that -1 to cast matters. Yeah, I think you want as much like saturation as you can, Strife. And I like the saturation level you've got here. I'm less worried about magic missiles in the current game, because magic missiles are worse and magic resist is better. Obviously, there's no magic resist in here, but no renegades makes the Furies so much worse too. How do you mean? What in there? Just in terms of losing the ward save? Like they don't have a proper ward save. You can take the power vortex and the flames to get in a good spot. You can, but like I don't know. I don't know that I think this is worth testing. Like I like what you've gone for here. You've got 3, 4, 5 magic missiles, 5 the summonings, plus some other stuff for demonology. I mean, this is just... The level 3 is purely to... There's not really much there to get, actually. Maybe you don't need twin heads. Like, what are we rolling in? Oh, this is illusion? Is it meant to be illusion? Or have I just clicked that accidentally? It is illusion. Okay, so you're going to try and do... Yeah, you're going to try and do control shenanigans with them. That makes sense. I don't know that I love 4 spells into it. I might be tempted just to go keep it level 3, Iridescent Corona, and Demonology. But yeah, this is interesting. I think this is worth playing around with. I don't want to make too many tweaks to it, because I think the core idea of what you got here is good, and I am curious as to how it plays. So, did we change anything? I think we made some very small changes, so I'm going to link it. But yeah. No, that's interesting. Again, I think if you want to make your life easier, maybe you drop the Brimstones. I'm not super in love with them here in terms of what they bring. They only come with 6 wounds as well. How many wounds do you get on Nurglings? Nurglings are 9? 7? 7. And they're T3 compared to the Brimstones having T2. Oh no, they're both T3. Oh, okay. They're not actually much worse. They're a lot cheaper as well. Okay. What about elementalism somewhere? Yeah, I just don't like any lore where you're trying... The reason the lore is good is because it has a spell in that you have to roll. Because here, best case scenario, you're getting 4 spells, so 1 in 3 chance to just not get one of the good ones. So that does worry me. Alright, we've also got Orc Boy Phil. Now, Orc Boy Phil said, 1500 point tournament, I need Holep with magic items and have a gatekeeper box available as well with a BSB on foot. Another 5 Jade Warriors with swords and board. I don't have any halberds though. That's great, because sword and board is the way to go, my friend. Teams already have a ward. I only want Plague of Rust, maybe TMP. Yeah, that's true. The ward's conditionally useful, given that it doesn't turn off against magical attacks. Okay, so looking at this 1500 points, this is good stuff. You've got double cannon, which is strong, but not too strong. People aren't going to backhand you for coming to a smaller tournament with, just all of the cannons, which is maybe not an issue, but whenever I see the smaller events, I worry a little bit about not going too hard in the paint. You're welcome, Strife. We got a Shigangan Lord, and I think you said you had a second Shigangan Lord, is that right? No, just the one. Okay, that's fine. So you've gone Iron Talons, Law of Yang, Battle Magic. Ooh, no upgrades. Okay, so you're using this as like a ranged output caster. Using Constellation of the Dragon, the magic missile. Yeah. Okay, so if we're going down that route, and this is your general, I think it's worth, and even if you're not going to... Okay, so there's 2 choices. If you're going for a caster, you still might want to take the Jade Blade because it gives you regen, but it is expensive. So maybe we just say learned Feng Shi Bow, so you get a 5th spell. You're more likely to roll Fireball. We'll take Ruby Ring of Ruin, and then you've also just got the Magic Missile in the Law of Yang. So this is how I'd go if I was building it sort of more ranged output. I think that is worse than it was before, but at 1500 points, maybe it's still good. People have less points to squeeze magic resistance stuff in. The Jade Sentinel, the Terracotta Sentinel, I'd be tempted to go Jade and just have a little bit more range damage. So Jade lets you pick a spell from, I believe it's just exactly the same, isn't it? Battle and Elementalism. So you can pick, Wind Blast or Fireball or whatever suits the comp, or you can take a ward save. Like, I would potentially be taking Oaken Shield, which makes you tankier than the Terracotta Sentinel, because you lose the 6-up regen, but you gain a 5-up ward. So I like Jade Sentinel for 20 points here. I think that's good. So it's basically building around the box, and you've got a Gatekeeper as well. I think a BSB on foot would work well with Jade Warriors. So let's go for a Gatekeeper, BSB. We'll make them nice and tanky, so we can go Celestial Blade, although you will have to use your hand weapon shield if you want to be tanky there, to be fair. And what do we got here? So this standard, probably just go... Let's go Banner of the Bastion. We talked already about how Stubborn Shield Wall is really good, so we're just going to lean on that. That's just worth taking. We can give the Gatekeeper here. Honestly, maybe we give it the... We don't give it a Celestial Blade. We give it the Spell Eater Axe. So this unit has Magic Resist 2, and the Jade Warriors aren't going to get blown up by spells. We'll also give it a Charm Shield, so it's got a once per game 5-up ward save. I know you come with the shield built in, but it's worth just having. I think that's worth doing there. We're slightly over in points, but we can tweak. And then we've got the Jade Lancers, and I really like giving the Jade Lancers Terror. So if we give them the Spirit Lantern, I don't know why I'm clicking this to show you. Makes the unit cause Terror, gives them rerolls against Undead as well, and Demons. So, yes, this unit, I do like Drilled on them as well. So if we give them Drilled and we maybe go down to 8 models. Yeah, something like that. Honestly, actually, 25 Jade Warriors might be too many. So maybe we go back up to 10 on the Jade Lancers. We drop it to 20 Jade Warriors. And we give the unit champion a Charm Shield here as well. I don't think we need to go Drilled. Yeah, I think this works. Oh, hold on. We want to be a level 4 wizard if we're going for the Feng Shi Bow Ruby Ring of Ruin combo. So we'd still got to find 25 points. That's annoying. Maybe go down to 19 here, and that still gives you, when the Gatekeeper joins, 20 models, and we drop the Jade Lancers, and then the Jade Lancers are also going to take a Charm Shield. Something like that. And that kind of, I think, gets you pretty effective scoring. So you've got the Warriors and the Lancers, who can score comfortably. Oh, zoomed in. Score comfortably. You've got the Shingangan Lord, who can fly around, do a little bit of melee, but it's mostly just sort of like ranged output. Oh, in fact, we need to put the Iron Talons back on him. Gosh darn it. Alright, so we're going to drop the Charm Shield off the Jade Lancers. They don't need it as much, because they're not going to be getting in challenges. Yeah, and you've got the Sentinel, which can give itself a ward save or do more ranged pressure. I think this works well at 1500 points. I think that... It's so funny. You look at the... dropped my drink. You look at Cathay, and you just go, wow, you really don't get all of that much in terms of models. They feel very elf in that way. Lovely. You're welcome, Orc Boy Phil. Hope that's helpful. And perfect stuff. Perfect stuff. Well, that is going to be it for the evening. It is 10:15. It's so warm. I want to go have my 4th shower of the day because, God, it's warm. And, yeah, how does the Sentinel compare to a Giant/Bone Grinder? A Sentinel is probably overcosted in terms of being a meta pick, but it's not bad. So if you look at the Sentinel, for 250 points, you have a good stat line in terms of, like, standard stat line. Your T6 with 6 wounds, or your 230 points, let's say. We're looking at the Terracotta Sentinel. This gives you a 6-up regen. So for 230 points, your T6 with a 6 wounds and a 4-up save from the full plate and a 6-up regen. You can then pay points to give it bound spells, which are decent as well. It only has 3 attacks, but its sweep attack is, I think you make double the attacks, or each hit is 2 hits, something like that. And then you've got big wombo hits that will do absolute damage. So I don't think the Cathayan Sentinel is game-breaking or so exciting that I want to put them in my list, but I think they're about where they should be for if we wanted monsters to be seen in sort of friendlier lists. How do I feel about the state of shooting in the game? It's non-magical shooting getting some increased stonks. Maybe. Things like dwarves. And you want to take more core. So, yeah, there's potentially more non-magical shooting in the game. I don't know if it's a lot of ballistic skill shooting. I think it's going to be a lot of, war machines. It's more that, Cathayan Grand Cannons and balloons are nuts. And maybe that pushes an arms race of shooting, because you can't really deal with them in melee. Full artillery goblin, that's looking interesting. I like Doom Divers. Rock lobbers are fine. Bolt throwers are okay. The main downside to the Sentinel is actually building it. That is rough, buddy. But it's a beautiful model. So hopefully you enjoy painting, because that looks like a really fun project to put on the tabletop. Alright. Well, I am going to call it, because I need to go and shower and be less warm. But have a good evening all. I hope your weekend goes well. It's going to be super, super warm here. I've got one more army to do. I need to talk about dwarves in terms of how the game's changed. I'm not going to do Cathay, because I don't think there was enough data there to say how things have changed for Cathay. But I'll probably look at some of the legacy factions as well. Alright, enjoy your evening, and I will... I'm sure there'll be something